I'd like to introduce the VP of Enrollment Services here at Western Illinois University, Dr. Amber Schultz.
Thank you, Cassie. Yes, hi, I'm Dr. Amber Schultz. I'm the Vice President for Enrollment Management at Western Illinois University. I have been here at Western for, gosh, I think it's going on almost 14 months. I absolutely love Western Illinois University, and I'm so excited to be here. I've spent about the last 23 years-ish in enrollment management marketing at a number of different institutions. I am a Minnesotan. You heard that, right? So I grew up in Minnesota. I've spent most of my career in higher education in the state of Minnesota, and spent some time in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, and found myself in Western Illinois most recently. And so again, excited to be here. Of all of the college communities I have served, which I think this is number 6, Western and Macomb have by far been the most welcoming environments I've ever entered into. And this is an incredible year to be at Western Illinois University. So many exciting things. I'm sure you're all well aware we have a nice increase in our enrollment. Overall enrollment this fall, we were 2.5% ahead of last fall at this time. Our new entering freshman class was 16.7% of last fall's freshman class. So we're super excited about the growth. We have the most international students we've ever had in Western Illinois University's history at 1,108 international students right now. And we have the largest graduate school enrollment since about 2008. So incredibly exciting things going on at Western Illinois University. In terms of leadership on this campus, our president, Dr. G. Wong, started about 23 months ago, something like that. And he's really building out an incredible leadership team. And I am very, very proud to serve on, for me personally, the most communicative and collaborative cabinet I've been on to this point. So very excited about that. And then we also most recently launched a $100 million comprehensive campaign. It's finally public information as about 5 minutes ago. We are finally, actually, for real this time, breaking ground on a brand new Center for Performing Arts, and the governor will be here on campus for that celebration today at 11 a.m. So we are just pumped here at Western Illinois University because great things are happening. The state is investing in us. We are here to stay. When I was talking about all that enrollment stuff, the one point I did not raise is that we are not up on transfer. We need you. We need to partner with you. We want your students at Western Illinois University. So we're very excited. I know that all of us have been hit hard by the demographics, right? Demographics in higher education are not in our favor to continue growth in direct from high school students. And obviously your challenges, our shared challenges there also then continue to impact that opportunity for transfer. But in addition to those demographic challenges that we face, we also then together face that fierce competition for students. And we're not just competing with each other for those students, we are also competing with the economy, because every single day we all hear that, right? That, no need to go to college, go into the economy right away. You can always get a college education later. So figuring out how we evolve and respond to that in higher education will continue to be our challenge. But we are so excited again to partner with you. Again, like you said, new leadership on campus with Dr. Wong being our new president, but we also have a brand new provost who's been here since July, right? I'm pretty sure Monitor got here in July, and he's already forging partnerships and relationships with a number of community colleges and really working through different academic programs. Like I said earlier, Western Illinois University has incredible momentum, great positive trajectory, and we really want to make sure that we are an incredibly transfer friendly institution and want to work and partner closely with you to ensure that your students find a wonderful home here when they want to earn that bachelor's degree and or graduate degree. So are there questions about Western? Anything specific? No? All right. So again, I welcome to Western. Have a wonderful time in Macomb today. Enjoy your experiences. Do ask lots of questions and make sure that you reach out to us for partnership, program-specific partnership, and or other opportunities for transfer pathways. Super excited to have you all here. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Amber. And so today's agenda, hopefully you were able to grab one of these when you walked in, so you know who will be speaking with you today. My name is Cassie Daly. I am the Associate Director of, one of the Associate Directors of Undergraduate Admissions and the Director of Transfer Services here at Western Illinois University. I am based at our Quad Cities campus, but come here to Macomb several times a month during and throughout the year. I've been at Western for over 13 years now, so long-standing history here. I always joke that I actually literally grew up at Western. I went to preschool here. I did my undergraduate degree here, and then came back to work for Western, and just have a very strong connection to this university. Many of you grabbed your folders. I'd like to take this opportunity to give props to the wonderful transfer team that I have. Even though I've been here 13 years, it takes a village to raise transfers. Patty Mason, who many of you have known for many, many years, who handles all of the articulation and heads up all of our processing here. She had a plumbing emergency this morning, so she was not able to join us, but she sends her regards. But then I have 3 other people on this fantastic transfer team, so I'm going to make them come up front. First of all, I'm going to introduce Dr. Sharon Hunter. Sharon has been with Western for almost 14 years, 13 years? 12 years.
I'm a preteen.
It's a preteen. And so she's been here in a variety of different capacities. So, and currently serves as one of our admissions counselors for, you want to share your territory?
Oh, yes. So part of it, and I know some of you in here because we were working together, would be the southern part of the region. And then I also have a good group now in the Chicago area, Chicagoland area. So I'm excited about that.
We had some staff changes throughout the spring, summer. And so some of the staff changes gave us the opportunity just to rearrange some territories, and we did some reorganizing. So the next person I'll introduce is Taylor. Taylor has been with us now, you're a little over a year?
Yeah.
So I'll let you share your.
Yeah, so I work with students that are coming in from out of state, but also work with, I'd say, the northwestern part of the state of Illinois. So around the Quad Cities, IVCC, Highland, Sauk, Scott, all those good schools.
And then next person, Karen, I'm gonna have you move this way a little bit because of where the camera is facing for those of us joining us virtual, because we're going off of that one there. So Karen, if you want to share your background.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. My name is Karen Trusley. I am the newest transfer admissions counselor. I'm about 5 months old here at Western, but not new to the university necessarily. Similar to Cassie, I actually grew up in this area, went to preschool here in Macomb as well. And I am a third generation Western alum. So I'm very, very proud to be a Leatherneck. And to be back representing the university. With regard to territory, I am transfer north along with Southeast Iowa and here in West Central Illinois. So super excited to be working with many of you here in the room today.
All right, thank you, ladies. So yeah, this is not done in a bubble. Today's conference was not done in a bubble. So thank you to my transfer team that helped put today together. From the bags that you have in front of your table, that was all Karen and Sharon. I gotta give the love to them for that. They put all those together. So you can thank them for the great swag items. And then our Director of Admissions, Dr. Doug Fried, is in the very back of the room. So he has joined us here today. And so if you have questions for any of us at any point during the day, please feel free to find us. Just a few updates. Many of you probably saw or participated in the webinar that's on the Illinois side, the webinar that we do for State University Transfer Day updates. But in case you are from Iowa, then we have a lot of friends from Iowa here today. So thank you for making the trip. Just a few updates. We were voted again Best Midwestern University by US News and World Report. So we kind of like to let people know that we keep that accolade running. We have 2 campus locations here in Macomb, and then we also have a Quad Cities campus location in Moline, Illinois, which holds our engineering program exclusively, and then online programs. And so our online offerings tend to grow. They boomed, and then we seem to be adding one online program about every year. So new opportunities for that. Our requirements for admission have not changed. It's still a 2.0 cumulative GPA for students coming in that have the 24 credit hours or more. Students can apply online, and we will accept them off of unofficial transcripts. Now, they won't be able to register for classes until we get their official transcripts, but we will make the admissions decision on unofficial transcripts. So that allows the students to know, okay, or have an idea, and we will also evaluate off of those unofficial transcripts. So a student can know what their credits are going to look like coming in. And our credit evaluation process is I feel like it is a quick process for students once we get those transcripts, and we're able to get those back to the students in about 7 to 10 days once we have all their transcripts. We also offer the Transfer Admission Guarantee Program, or TAG. So if you have a student coming in, early in their freshman year, they know that they want to go to Western, or they're thinking that they want to go to Western, they can apply for free. There's a $1,000 scholarship that goes with the TAG program once they enroll with us after leaving your institution. We encourage the completion of the Associate of Arts degree prior to them transferring in, and then they're able to communicate with us through the entire process of what classes they should take. So if they're going to be a business major, we're going to say, okay, we need you to take, the macro, the microeconomics, the business calculus. And so they'll know what classes that they need to add to that Associate of Arts degree. Or if they're coming from Iowa, the Associate of Science degree, either one, AA or AS, coming from SCC Burlington, Keokuk, our EICC partners. This entire month of October is free for a transfer student to apply. So if you have somebody thinking about it and they don't want to put in a $30 commitment, then they can apply now and for absolutely for free. However, if you ever have a student that comes to you that wants to apply to Western and they are having difficulty paying for the application fee, please reach out to us. You can send an email on their behalf requesting a fee waiver, and we will waive that fee for the student based on your recommendation. So those are just a few kind of quick updates. I'm trying to stay true to time because we have several guests joining us. Transfer scholarships, all of these updates are in this piece that you have inside of your folder. So it goes over all of the transfer scholarships that we offer to students and the amounts and the way that a student can qualify. Transfer commitment is our largest one. I like to brag about this one because it is available even if a student's only going part-time. And that's something that's kind of different. A lot of scholarships are based on full-time enrollment, but the transfer commitment is available to students even if they're going part-time. So please kind of look at those as time allows in your handout. A lot of different things for students to do on either campus. Here in Macomb, obviously, is a larger campus, so there's a few more student organizations, but our Quad Cities campus is actually very, very active with our student organizations. We just have a fewer number of them. Both campuses are very heavy into the esports because, that's a thing. I guess I can't tell my kid to get off video games because, they could get a scholarship now for some institutions. We don't have that yet, but we do have a large esports arena here on our Macomb campus. It has taken off so wildly that we're looking at expansion at this point here on the campus. And then we have a competitive esports team at our Quad Cities location as well. Also Division I athletics here in Macomb, our Quad Cities campus students are able to come down to be a part of those athletic events if they would like, and then club and intramural sports here at the main campus in Macomb. Always encourage students to visit us. They can do that a variety of different ways. Open houses that we have available, daily presentations and tours. The transfer team, these three wonderful ladies that you've already met earlier, have put together virtual workshops and I've already started these virtual workshops, and there's more virtual workshops that will come to help students navigate different things in the transfer process. and then academic open houses as well. Fine. Any questions about things happening in the admissions office at Western?
If we do have, or if we're requesting a waiver, is there a certain email that we should be sending these requests?
You can email any of the four of us and make that request. Or if you would like, you can just email transfer@wiu.edu and say that you're putting in the request, and they'll get that to one of us, or they may just go ahead and Patty will grant it. So. Okay. Well, the first college that we have up to this morning, I'm already fast forwarding to this afternoon. I've been up since really early this morning, so to me it feels like afternoon, as many of the other of you that have driven in. So our College of Arts and Sciences. No, sorry, College of Fine Arts and Communication. Like, no, you're giving us a different.
Arts and Sciences, how dare you?
I know, I'm so sorry. All right.
We're out of here.
Okay. So the camera we have many of joining us virtually via Zoom. And so you kind of have to stay a little bit in this box right here.
There we go. That's like the edge of it.
I don't know if I'm starting or.
Rick, are you starting off here?
I'm starting off as soon as I'm done.
Here, I'll take that.
Okay,
I shall pass out the goodies.
okay.
Stand here.
Right here?
Yeah, right in here. It's good. Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Study guides.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Rick Karaz, and I'm serving as the interim associate dean for COPA. Welcome. We're so glad to have you. I want to start off by telling you that we want your students. We really want your students. We'll do anything to facilitate that. What I handed out is our little flip book. After our presentation, if we didn't answer any of your questions, I urge you to contact the directors or chairs listed on here, because of course they're going to be the content experts. So for instance, I come from the School of Music, but today I'm covering theater and broadcasting. I'm not going to do as good of a job. Obviously, that's not my area, but all the information is there. Also, you'll see on the back of each card, QR code that will bring you right to our webpage. Okay. So I would like to get started, and we're going to move. We're just going to go in the order of cards, and so we'll start with art and design, and the chairperson, Kat Myers.
Good morning, and thank you guys for being here. I am Kat Myers. I'm the chair of art and design, and just a little, real brief. We offer both a BFA, which is a professional degree in graphic design and studio art, and then in teacher education. We also offer a more liberal degree. It's a little bit more flexible, the BA, in studio art and graphic design. The art ed is only the BFA because it's very intense. It's a very popular degree, and students get hired in that one though. Side note. We also have minors in art history, graphic design, and art studio. So if people are interested in like a taste of art, but they don't want to major in it, they can go that route. As far as what students should know when they get to us, coming to us with an associate's degree, that would take care of a lot of their gen ed classes. Those are the ones that are really good for them to have, as well as any of the art foundation courses. So you should kind of check and make sure they're IAI kind of transferable, or contact our transfer office and we can make sure. But 2D design, 3D design, any of the art history surveys, all of those are good ones for them to come to us with. We do not have a portfolio review to become an art major at all. So you can enter either one of those programs without a portfolio review. But the BFA, the professional degree, students will go through a review process. And that usually for a traditional student is in their sophomore year. The transfer students, it's a little bit different. So they're going to probably be here for a semester, then they would go through their first review, be here for another semester, go through their next review. Because when they graduate, they are required to do a senior exhibition. That is part of the graduating for that professional degree. Okay, so any of the foundation courses they can get out of the way so they have those basic skills when they get here. They could possibly even do their entry review that first semester when they're here, if they're comfortable doing that. We do have several different exhibition opportunities for any of our students. So students either in the BFA, Art Ed, or BA, we have the art gallery, we have a student gallery, which the students run more or less, and then we have kind of an in-between gallery. And students can sign up to do exhibitions there. You don't have to be like one of the main art students. You can do a group show, whatever. There's also a lot of shows available on campus for students to kind of experience art. Because we are a little bit more rural here at Western, we do try and bring in a lot of artists and workshops and things for students, as well as field trips. We do have a nice study abroad trip to New York. That is every other summer, and it's been kind of rotating with a trip to Europe. And so it's a kind of a 10-day intense art experience. It's fabulous. I've been on the New York one twice myself. So anyway, so let's see. I'm trying to look at your questions. Internships, we do not require internships, but they are highly encouraged for, especially for graphic designers. One of the nice things about Western's campus is our students do get jobs on campus in several different offices, so they get practical experience. We usually have designers over in like the rec center, housing center, the publishing center. So they're actually getting that practical experience on campus. So that's one of the nice things as far as some of the things our students can get. We do have several scholarships available that are departmental scholarships. Our scholarships are a little weird in that we offer them in the fall. So the applications are due in September. And with art students, I don't know if it's a thing everywhere, we can't get them to apply in the spring. So if they get here, so anyone starting, like transfer students, whatever, we will go through the entry process with them. We will help them put together a portfolio, things like that. So as far as what they can do when they graduate with a degree in art, we have art teachers all over the state as well as we just had one that graduated and is now teaching in Nevada. I was going through our list of art ed, and every single one of them is employed somewhere teaching art. So for the last 3 years. We also, our BFA students are getting MFA degrees. We also have some of them who are having shows in New York. We had one that just graduated with his MFA who now has work in the Met in New York. So a lot of exciting stuff going on. We've got one teaching in Alaska who just got an $18,000 scholarship, which was like, woo. So that was fellowship, sorry. It's not scholarship. It's not a student anymore. Let's see. Do you guys have any questions? Did I not cover anything?
Questions for graphic arts and art and education?
Our students, by the way, that big lovely window cling that's outside on the Lincoln, that was our students.
Can you talk more about the summer art camp
The high,
for high schoolers?
for high schoolers, yeah, it's usually in June. It is a week-long experience. I usually teach metals during that thing. There's we usually have 4 different kind of intense little workshops. It's anything from 9th through 12th grade, but I think we stretched that a little bit on either end. So if somebody graduated, like a graduating senior, if they want to come and experience Western before they actually come here, they would be more than welcome to do it. It is done through study abroad. There are some scholarships to them. So if people are interested, But yeah, it's an on-campus, students live on campus. They are pretty much in workshops. Then there's some kind of fun things in the evenings. We usually open the studios in the evenings for students to have extra time to work. So it's kind of a Western art experience before like you decide you want to come to Western. Because once you come to Western in the art camp, you'll decide you'll learn. Anything else? Great, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Next is broadcasting journalism, and I'm just going to read from the chair's notes. Again, not my content area, but I know Pete Jorgensen can probably step in and answer a lot of these questions if you have them after this. So for broadcasting journalism, we encourage them to start right away, hands-on experience. This includes 88.3, the Dog radio station, the Western Courier newspaper, and News 3, our campus television station. These applied media experiences afford our students an opportunity to engage in experiential learning, and they will help them get hired at local and regional media outlets across the tri-state area. The Department of Broadcasting and Journalism has historically established 2+2 programs with local community colleges, and we are working diligently to help ensure that transfer students can find a home in our department, across the college, and throughout the WIU community. So most of those graduates, I shouldn't say most, many of them go on to become reporters, whether it's on TV, radio, or sportscasting. That's kind of the main areas, and it's a very high placement rate. So, any questions that I can attempt to answer for broadcasting? Or I should say Pete, to get an answer them.
I just make up the answers anyway.
So at SEC, we have our business administration, one of our pathways is sports management. So have you ever worked with any of those sports, like SPT classes will they ever transfer in or anything for like the sports broadcast?
I think there's a course that's ongoing right now. We're trying to be developed or pushed through for that.
Well, we got here at Western, we do have a sports management graduate program. We do not have a sports management undergraduate program right now. So depending on the focus of that undergraduate class, it may transfer in under a number of possible departments. If it's primarily about sports promotions, for instance, then it very well may come in as something appropriate for broadcasting and journalism. If it's more kinesiology-ish kind of things, then that may, so it very well may come in, maybe not quite sure which department that might come under.
And that's always something too, you can submit the syllabus and then we can review that to see where it would maybe fit best and under which department if we haven't reviewed it before.
So if it is dealing with if it's dealing with sports broadcasting or doing color or doing some of those things, we of course we work with the ESPN Plus. So we've got ESPN3. We do our programs. We broadcast high school games. So all of that activity goes on. So if it's related to that, I have no doubt it would transfer into the department.
I'm curious about the media competitions. What kind of competitions are they? What do students have to do, and what are they?
I know that. The media competitions are primarily what students do is because of our News 3. All right, one of the things that we have in the Broadcasting and Journalism Department is we do News 3. And so it's a sort of closed cable. It's a news show that's done weekly. And what students will do is they will take certain segments they've recorded and that they created, and they will send those to various media organizations to be rated and then to sort of be evaluated. And so whether it's in terms of sportcasting, whether it's in terms of covering a current crisis, there are various categories that students can submit these things to. But essentially what they are is they are the full segment. So it's the audio, it's the video editing, it's the writing for it. That's what gets submitted to those.
Does Jennifer do all the transfer for your area in broadcasting? Is she the one who
Jennifer
takes?
Grimm is our full-time professional advisor. So we have a professional advisor that working with you folks coming in, that we have them advise the students in broadcasting and journalism, communication, and speech pathology and audiology. So we have one professional advisor for those 3 departments, but she knows the area really well, and she is fantastic working with students, finding out, yeah, how are you liking the courses? Are you trying new things? If you don't like some of those things, you can consider some other kinds of things. So it's not just about getting them in the right courses. It's also finding about what they're really finding, where their passion lies, and helping them develop further where they want to go from there.
Is it still the recommendation? Because I remember taking some broadcasting classes here. I remember the recommendation was that students have Apple computers. Is that still like the norm for that program?
I don't think we used to have the laptop requirement. The broadcasting
Yeah.
journalism folks they all had to have laptops coming in. I don't think we have that any longer.
Okay.
I do know that the broadcasting labs predominantly prefer the Mac basis because
Yeah.
those tend to have superior audiovisual editing and performance stuff as far as the PCs. But as far as required, I don't think they're required of students coming in any longer. And I think the broadcasting and journalism labs are all outfitted with Macs.
Good to know.
The PCs are also very comparable to the Macs anymore. Like that gap has very much narrowed. We face the same thing in art and design. Mac used to be, and still primarily is, the preferred. It's what we have in all of our labs, but the PCs are getting so comparable that students can do well with either anymore.
Okay, then let's move on to communication.
All right, you wanted me to talk about what, 45 minutes, an hour on the program? On that, so.
You have until
Thank you. Cassie. You got to keep shut down on that one, giving him time. Well, folks, welcome. Let me first of all say on behalf of the College of Fine Arts and Communication, we really appreciate you taking the time to come out, learn about our programs, learn about the ways in which we might be able to help your students make that seamless transfer here to Western Illinois University. So whether you're here with us personally or whether you're here with us virtually, we really thank you for that opportunity. My name is Pete Jorgensen. I am the chairperson of the Department of Communication. And we're going to start off today with a little bit of a pop quiz. So suppose you've got a student that comes into your office and says, you know what, I heard about this degree in communication, and I think that's what I want to do. So what is it about? How would you answer that question? And it's okay, it's kind of a trap question, so nobody really sort of knows what that is, right? What would you answer, though, if they want to know what the degree in communication was about?
I would think that like social media, how
Okay.
you're gonna use language to market.
Good, so
students.
language, some marketing, some social media-ish kinds of things. You're right on target. You're right on target. Anybody else? I mean, because typically when people think about degrees in communication, they think that what we really produce are one of two things. Either one, we offer a 4-year degree in public speaking. That is not the case. We only offer 2 courses in public speaking. It's a little difficult to stretch that out into 4 years. Or that it's a degree that's suitable for sales, which is true, but we can do so much more with that. Here at the Department of Communication at Western Illinois University, we focus in 4 different areas. And this is one of the issues, is because depending on what university you're going to, communication can involve a lot of different areas. At some universities, broadcasting and journalism are co-located with communication. Here, we've got those as 2 separate departments. So what we do here is we focus on one of 4 areas. We focus on organizational communication, which is how we use communication to build effective relationships within organizations, superior-subordinate relationships, looking at peer relationships. We use communication strategies to build and formulate and evolve high-performance teams. We look at how to manage conflict in organizational settings. We look at how to use communication to build and maintain and change healthy organizational cultures. That's actually my background, is organizational communication. I do a lot of corporate training and development. I do a lot of organizational consulting, so I know that the stuff that we teach is worth its weight in gold. A second area that we look at is interpersonal communication. So how do we use communication messages to initiate, escalate, maintain, de-escalate, and or terminate personal or professional relationships? So for your students who are wondering, like, am I going to be able to maintain my long distance romantic relationships when I go away to Western Illinois University? We can help them study to understand how to do that. If they want to understand, how can I start talking about to my parents that I'm going to need more money? We can talk about that kind of interpersonal communication. So interpersonal communication is how we go about building and maintaining those relationships, as well as conveying things like sympathy, looking at emotion, looking at emotions within relationships, looking at what creates relational satisfaction. And so that's a key component of what we're looking at as well. A third area that we look at, and this sort of goes in to what, I'm sorry, your name is?
Oh, Rachel Boyd.
Rachel. So what Rachel suggested here in terms of strategic messaging. So we look at messages in terms of persuasion, attitude formation and change, How do you go about using communication strategies to reinforce existing attitudes, to create new attitudes, and or to change existing attitudes? And that, of course, has immediate implications when we're talking about strategic communication in marketing, in advertising, in public relations, and social health campaigns, all those kinds of things, and as well as social media. And we'll talk about that in just a second as well. And then finally, our fourth area is the area of rhetoric. So how do various kinds of communication events take on certain kinds of meanings? So looking at protests, what goes into a good protest? How does that show itself? What kinds of messages emerge from that? So those are kind of the four loose areas that we have within our discipline. In our department here, we offer a single bachelor's degree in communication. So the students are actually able to pick and choose the kinds of courses that they want to put together. If they want to take more of an organizational route, they can take our organization and communication sequence, and they can take interviewing, and then they can take the corporate training and development course. Then maybe they've also might take one of our specialty courses. We've got a study abroad course that's been very popular with our students. We've offered it for the past 12 years, and that is the Disney Study Abroad course in communication culture. And it's 8 weeks of study about the Disney communication culture. And then it's traveling to, depending on the year, it's either going to the Magic Kingdom, and they may be comparing that to Harry Potter World at Universal Studios. Past years, they've gone to the Magic Kingdom, and then to contrast that experience, they immediately go down to Port Canaveral, get on a 4-day Disney cruise, and then they take a look at the Disney culture with the cruise ship as well as the theme parks. There was one year where we did it cross country, where they went to Anaheim, then they all got on a plane, and then they came out to the Magic Kingdom to look at the original versus where the Disney World was. And I know that our current instructor of that class is looking really hard at trying to get Disney Tokyo on the next sort of schedule coming up. So again, if you're interested in organizational communication, understanding how a company like Disney goes about strategically marketing its vision, how it goes about greeting its guests, talking about training the cast members, and how to interact and share the message of Disney, that's the kind of course we can look at there. Okay, but we offer the single bachelor's degree. So if you want to look at interpersonal, if you want to decide to do social media, we have a social media lab, and that social media lab is connected with some of our courses, but it also allows the students to come in and explore different kinds of projects. Over the pandemic, the social media lab actually won an award from Macomb for our Mask Up campaign. So our students and the director of the social media lab put together a social media campaign trying to encourage the community to mask up. And so that's, again, just another one of those elements we can go out with. In fact, I know one of the questions you had asked sort of posed for us was what kinds of career options were our students doing? We recently did just land one of our graduates is now the social media manager for Modern Women of America up in the Quad Cities. And social media, of course, is a huge opportunity for these students to be able to go out and do that. And our courses do set them up for that. In terms of flexibility for the communication program, what other kinds of things might you like to know? Well, we are an incredibly flexible program, not only in terms of the content, but in the fact that we are the only department within the College of Fine Arts and Communication that offers the degree face-to-face in Macomb, face-to-face in the Quad Cities, and fully completable online. So if you've got students who are looking for flexibility in their coursework, this is a degree that they might want to pursue. They can take face-to-face classes if they wish, and then seamlessly go between and take online asynchronous courses as well. So that gives them a sort of a brand of a little bit of a flexibility. If you've got someone who's interested in communication but may not want to necessarily major in it, we do offer 3 minors in that area. We offer a minor in social media. We offer a minor in health communication, which is one of the fastest growing areas of communication. And then we offer sort of our overall sampler plate of just communication, the minor in communication, where the students can kind of choose what they would like to do. Okay, yes.
I completed my master's in health communication at University of Illinois in Champaign.
Fantastic.
And so I'm happy to hear that you're implementing that as a minor at least.
Absolutely, absolutely. The health communication minor is the one that we do have to offer face-to-face. The minor in communication and the social media can be completed all online, but because of our health communication course, which is, it's a fabulous course in understanding the role of health communication, looking at how to become, and these are for a great opportunity for people who want to work in the health industry, but they, faint at the sight of blood. This would be a good opportunity if they want to be patient advocates, if they're looking at developing persuasive campaigns, looking at becoming rural health coaches. There are all kinds of different kinds of pathways that you can be looking at for health communication. Okay. All right. Let's see what else. There was, as far as transfer friendly, we are the definition of transfer friendly. All you need to have is, as long as your students complete the AA degree, they are going to be guaranteed to be able to get out in that 2 years coming in. All of their coursework for the major and the minor can be completed under normal under a normal schedule, and be able to get them out in that time. That's not a problem at all. If you do have a student that is really ideally focused on communication, I do want to also emphasize that we have an integrated program with our master's degree. So the integrated program will allow a transfer student to come in. They'll take their junior year of comm courses and their major and the minor. Then in their senior year, they will take a couple of graduate bridge courses along with their undergraduate curriculum, and then go directly into the graduate program and essentially knock a year out of the graduate program. So instead of taking 6 years, starting with 2 years with you, 2 years to finish out the upper division courses here, and then 2 years in terms of the master's degree, they can knock out a year and actually graduate with both their master's degree and their bachelor's degree in 5 years instead of 6. Okay, and that's a decision that they would be looking at making at the end of their junior year after they've sort of figured out what's going on with us.
We do have a question from online.
Sure, absolutely.
One of our people tuning in said, can students participate in the study abroad Disney opportunity if they are completing a minor in communications?
They can actually participate in the Disney study abroad opportunity regardless of their major. So they can be a minor in communication, they can be a major in communication, or we've got majors coming in from other departments. It's a very common course for our RPTA majors, Recreation, Park, and Tourism Administration. Folks that are just Disney files, they're just welcome to come along with it. So they'll learn about organizational culture, and that's part of what we're contributing to their understanding and their knowledge base in that 8 weeks leading up to it. And then they'll get to experience and view that as well going through the course. Great. Any other questions I can answer for you about the degree in communication? It's an incredibly flexible degree, and especially in this day and age when we don't know what kinds of careers our students are going to be graduating or ultimately retiring from because they don't even exist yet. But the one thing that we do need to do as a faculty in the department is make sure that our students know how to advocate for the degree in communication. Because many of the employers and many of the people they're going to be talking to may not know what that really means when they see it on the resume. So we want to make sure that we focus on giving them that opportunity. So we have events in the department, for instance, coming up not next week, but the week after on October 18th. We have an annual event called the Career Preparation Day event, which we essentially run as a miniature conference. All of our comm majors are excused from the classes on that day, and they are meeting with various panels of alumni talking about how do these alumni find themselves in their current positions? What kinds of courses do they recommend? What advice do they have to be able to get into these kinds of professional opportunities, as well as exploring things like graduate school options and other things. So we do take that applied focus in terms of helping them to get career ready very seriously. Okay. Anything else before I get buzzed off the stage? Rick.
I don't know, maybe I shouldn't pull on this thread.
Go ahead.
Can you give some examples? I know it's a very versatile degree. Give some examples of jobs
Sure.
that are available to our graduates.
Absolutely. I mean, a degree in communication sets people up to do wonderful positions in a variety of things, including we've got people that go directly into public relations. We have people that go directly into marketing, even though those are degree programs on campus in other departments, yet our students are set up to be able to do those kinds of things well. In terms of if we've got students who are interested in HR, we can set somebody up in HR very well. What they're not going to get, they're not going to get anything in terms of compensation law, and they're not going to get that element. But if we're looking at recruiting, if we're talking about new employee onboarding, if we're talking about interviewing, managing conflict, our students are absolutely set up for that. As far as unique specific kinds of career positions, and of course, I just go now to the major successes. We have one of our former students who is one of Tony Robbins' top 13 national trainers and the only female trainer for his multi-million-dollar empire. And she is doing fantastic. In fact, Carissa Kuchis, who is formerly a star athlete on the softball team here at Macomb, has been doing a phenomenal job. In fact, under the protective umbrella of Tony Robbins' empire, she is now carving out a specific force looking at empowering women in a variety of different ways. And so that's something she's doing. We've also got someone who went into training and development for Pulte Homes up in Chicago. As I mentioned, we've got a new position as social media manager for Modern Woodmen of America. And then we have numerous people that go out into various kinds of management positions in terms of nonprofit and also for-profit. We've got folks that work into the health industry. We've got one student that's working right now as an outreach specialist for OSF in Peoria. And so there's a variety of different kinds of things that these students can do.
Another question, you talked about the 4 different areas within communication. Are those concentrations also available online?
Yes, well, they're not really so much concentrations, and all of our curriculum sort of built around that. And we used to have emphases where you had to choose one of those things. We found that students were not that intentional about choosing it. What they do is they would come to their advisor in their senior year. The advisor would ask them, so what's your emphasis? And they're like, I don't know. My emphasis on taking classes Tuesday, Thursday, anytime starting after 10 o'clock in the morning. And so we decided that wasn't working all that well. And so we sort of now have sort of a pick and choose. So if they want to pursue organizational communication, they can take the courses in that. So it is still sort of wide open, but we also are providing them information. And one of the things that Jennifer Grimm, our advisor, does is she does let them know that if this is what you're interested in, these are the other courses we recommend. You know, if you're interested in strategic marketing or public relations, then take the risk and crisis communication course. That's really going to be helpful for what they want to do.
And those are all available, all those different types of courses are available online?
Most of them are. We don't have a one-to-one. Our catalog for in-person classes is larger than our online asynchronous courses. But we have now added to our online asynchronous courses to the point where now it used to be that students had to take the online courses that we offered because we offered enough of them for the graduate, but we didn't really offer enough to be able to have any really electives, you know, where they can make choices between classes. And now they've got the choice to be able to do that. Okay, so I can't say that all those classes are available in the online format, but a lot of them are. Other questions about the part of communication? If not, we will pass you right back, and we're going on now to the School of Music, I believe.
Yes. So the School of Music offers really just one degree, and under that degree, we offer 4 different options. So it's a Bachelor of Music, and with options on music performance, music education, music therapy, and music business. Under music performance, there are 3 other options. There's jazz studies, composition, and just general performance. So that lives under there. One important thing to know that to become a member of the School of Music, your students must complete an audition on their main instrument or voice. If they don't do this, they are not part of the School of Music, and this step gets lost in the shuffle a lot. Okay, and it's a very simple step to set that up. If you go to the School of Music website, there's a link that says schedule an audition. Okay, in terms of what your students need to transfer, if they want to complete their curriculum in 2 years, they absolutely need to have music theory, 4 semesters, 2 semesters of class piano, and then with music theory, aural skills. A lot of you may have those as 1 class, sometimes there's 2. And they need to have at least 2 semesters of applied lessons. If they can have 4, even better, but they have to have 2, because if you don't have that chunk core curriculum complete, it's going to offset everything by a year, and I couldn't guarantee that they would be out in 2. But you can catch up on some things, but the music theory, especially since it's a 2-year program, if that's not done, that really kind of ruins everything for them. Okay. After that, after the first 2 years, after completing that core curriculum, that's when it becomes very content specific and they'll move on their way. Okay, but that's probably the most important thing. No one needs to be a music major to be in our ensembles. And that's really important. And actually, that's for our entire college. If you are a music major and you want to take an art class, you're welcome to do so. If you're a comm major and want to play in an ensemble, you can do that. Some of our ensembles are audition only, some anyone's welcome. So it really depends, but we don't give any favoritism to music majors over non-majors. If you are a comm major who plays trumpet, if you're the best trumpet player, you're going to get first chair. We do not care. We do not cater to our music majors in that way. Okay, so that's the general transition into being a music major. Are there any questions with curriculum, the process?
So we actually had one from online that was asking, can the lessons be piano or can they be another instrument?
When I say your applied lesson, when you become a music major, you need to pick a primary instrument or voice. So if you're talking about your applied lessons, if you're a piano primary, yeah, you can take your piano lessons and those will count. If you want to substitute piano for class piano, that has to be done at the advisor level. But generally what happens is you would come in and take a piano test and we would see where you are. So if you have a lot of piano experience, you take this test and then we can place you out of the piano sequence. Okay, but yes, piano is one of our primary instruments, if that's what if they mean that. But again, for the last 3 years, I was the assistant director of the School of Music, and I did all the transfer articulations that were music-based. And I tried to make it as easy as possible for your students. If they took what looked to be theory 1, 2, and 3, 4, check. I didn't like go into the syllabus and say, well, they didn't cover this in week 13. It doesn't count. We really want your students. We will do anything to make that easier. So just let your students know that. But again, the most important thing is they complete that music core before they come to us, and then we can pretty much get them out in 2 years. Another thing to note is music therapy and music business both require an internship at the end. Music ed requires a semester of student teaching. Music ed can be a little tricky because of the student teaching and a lot of ed courses. Sometimes we can't get them out in 4, it becomes 4.5 because of the student teaching component. So that's probably the area we can't promise a clean 4 years.
It's the same with most ed programs. It's the same with art as well.
Yes.
Do you have some places here in the Macomb area that you that work with for internships at all?
Yes, for music therapy, I know that my students are constantly going out into retirement homes, places like that. They're not allowed to tell me where because it's confidential, but I know they're in the community. Music business internships are generally other places. Let me go back. I misspoke. That is not their internship. Music therapy, their big internship is somewhere else. They do a lot of hands-on clinical experience in town. Their big internships are usually somewhere out of town. A few of our music business majors will internship either at Tri-States Public Radio, in the COFAC recording booth. There's a few opportunities, but most students go somewhere else to a bigger corporation. Okay. Well, if there's no further questions, I'm going to bring Pete back to talk about speech audiology.
Speech pathology and audiology. Yes. All right. As we like to refer to it, the spa department, which sounds like a really relaxing place to be. I had the opportunity to serve as the interim chair of the speech pathology and audiology department here at Western Illinois University for a couple of years, and it is an absolutely superb department. What can I tell you about the department that is of importance to your students? Well, first of all, pursuing a degree in speech pathology and audiology, you need to take the long view. The bachelor's degree is not the stopping point. It's only a checkpoint to going on to the master's degree. In completing the master's degree in speech pathology and audiology, I don't know of any other career that is going to be as guaranteed employment and as a good salary as speech pathology and audiology. As a chair, I received multiple emails a week from schools, from nursing homes, from community centers that were begging for our graduate students to go out there. You'll note on the cards that there was a 100% employment placement within 6 months upon graduation. Many of these students already have degrees or already have careers locked up and positions locked up before they ever graduate. So it's a fantastic opportunity there. What makes it so good here at Western Illinois University for undergraduate students to study speech pathology and audiology? Primarily, it is our speech and hearing clinic. At a lot of clinics at other universities, the clinician hours and the clinic access is restricted to graduate students. Here at Western, our undergraduate students are actually going to get time and opportunity to work within the speech and hearing clinics under the supervision of the faculty. So they're going to be getting that hands-on training that is so valuable to them going forward. Okay, and that's really the major selling point. They see clients all the way from elderly dementia patients, all the way down to infants with swallowing disorders, looking at dealing with children with special needs, looking at autism. We've got various kinds of creative rooms and various kinds of studio atmospheres, environments within the clinic that are catering to all of these kinds of special interests. It's a fabulous program. The speech and hearing clinic sees thousands, literally, of clients each and every year. And they are very well known and very well respected in terms of this area. As far as students who might be looking at transferring into the speech pathology and audiology program, there are 4 gen ed courses that they are going to be required to complete. Now, they can do that if they come here, but if they want to get a little bit ahead of the game, they could complete that at your institutions and bring that in. Those 4 courses they're going to need to complete is essentially the same Psych 100, so sort of introduction to psychology course. They're going to be expected to take a biology lab of some kind. They'll be expected to take a physical sciences lab of some kind. And then the last course that is required is the stats course, an introduction to statistics course. Those are all gen ed courses here. But if your students graduate with their associate in arts degree and come here, those are still classes they will need to take if they have not completed those already. So if they want to make sure that they're on track and don't have to take any additional courses, as long as those 4 are in their associate in arts program, there should be no problem moving forward. Yes.
For the biology lab, could it be any biology lab, like an intro bio, or do you prefer like an anatomy and physiology?
I believe it can be any biology lab, because they'll be getting additional courses in anatomy and some of the other things as they go up into the major. So they need that initial foundation of biology going forward.
The question from our online audience, is preference still given to WIU grads for the master's program? And can they still get PEL at the undergrad level if they choose courses carefully with advisor?
Can they get, I'm sorry, PEL?
Yeah.
Professional educator's license.
Oh, that I do not know. That would be a question, I think, for the current chair of that department, Amanda Silver. But the first part of that question, which was
preference to.
Yes, the preference, yes, absolutely. That one of the advantages of completing the undergraduate degree here is that you do get preferential treatment in the selection for the graduate school going forward. So we do give our WIU graduates a preference for that in terms of selecting for the graduate school, the graduate program. Good questions. Any other questions about speech pathology and audiology? Okay, yes.
Just real quick, for the graduate program, you only have the speech pathology part, right? Not the audiology part?
I believe that is correct. Yes, we do have an audiologist on staff, and we do have the audio clinic, and they may take a graduate seminar in audiology, but the focus is going to be speech pathology. Yes. Okay, great. Well, I think that brings us to the final department in our final program in the College of Fine Arts and Communication. That's going to be the program of theater and dance. Rick?
Thank you. The Department of Theater and Dance offers a BA in production design, performance, and a BFA in musical theater. It's important to note that the BFA in musical theater requires an audition, much like our music majors. There are many opportunities for all WIU students in theater and dance. They hold unified auditions for shows which are open to anyone who's interested in performing. Freshmen and transfers are often cast in our productions. In fact, the first show of the fall semester, titled New Friends, showcases all the new students. There are 3 shops to work in: the Scenic Studio, Costume Shop, and Electric Shop. These shops are fully staffed and equipped with state-of-the-art tools and supplies. And they have student crews and stage management teams for all 15 of the productions. Scholarships, talent grants, and tuition waivers can be had, and they are offered in September each year. Incoming students can also be awarded talent grants based on their audition or interview or portfolio review. And there are some clubs. There is the WIU US ITT chapter, which is the official WIU United States Institute of Theatrical Technology chapter. Anyone interested in production design is encouraged to join. There's the comedy improv group, the Surgeon Generals, and they perform every Friday night after main productions. The Stage Combat Club is a club devoted to learning hand-to-hand as well as armed combat. They meet each week and work on skills as well as develop a showcase called Food Fight, which performs in March. Shades of Vision is our BIPOC student organization, which supports our BIPOC students. The University Theater Club is an organization that is dedicated to supporting the theater in all its processes. They sell concessions, high professors, hold ice cream socials, create a float at homecoming, and more. All the money goes to support the department. And finally, the University Dance Company is an organization that produces 2 dance concerts each year on main stage. This is an audition-only company. Many members either dance in the concert and/or choreograph the pieces. So again, like music and like our entire area, we are pretty inclusive and encourage our students to participate in things out of their major as much as possible. I'm sure you know, in many of these majors, time is at a premium. So, but we do have some students who are very, very ambitious and want to do it all. Any questions about theater and dance?
Actually, not so much about theater and dance. I realized I was remiss in something about speech pathology and audiology. Just switching caps there. I forgot to mention that there is an incredibly popular minor that this department started up 2 years ago. And I wanted to let you know about that because it's a minor that pairs up with so many different majors. And that minor is an American Sign Language minor. And so you can get a minor in American Sign Language. It's also looking at deaf culture. It pairs, law enforcement and justice administration, communication, marketing, and management. It's an incredibly valuable minor that is been very popularly and well received so far. So if you've got students that are interested in that, that is something they can actually get a minor in here to go with their majors that they're looking at. Okay.
And I did, for the graduate question about professional licensure, there are opportunities within the grad program to meet requirements for licensure by the state of Illinois. So it's not, there's just those opportunities.
Yes.
And the Bureau of Cultural Affairs, like their events is under your department now?
Yes, the BCA. Okay. Yes, it's still under COFAC. It's kind of changed formats through the years, but it's still going and it is under our college.
Okay, we bring our students from Spoon River to the events sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Well, there'll be an important announcement coming up later on this morning that will have extra impact in terms of the kinds of performances and opportunities and shows that will be associated with this university. I can't say anything more about that. Okay. Are there any other questions you have about any of the programs in the College of Fine Arts and Communication? Anything we've talked about tonight? Any questions, or this morning? Any questions that about the programs? Again, as Rick indicated, if you've got questions about the individual programs, the websites are listed as the QR codes on the back of the cards. Our contact information as far as the department chairs are there, and we are more than happy to chat with you, with your instructors, and with your students about possibilities and opportunities within the college here at Western Illinois University.
One last thing, please tell your students they are encouraged to come visit with us before they make the decision and spend a day. Many of our departments host a day in the life type thing, but you don't have to come to that. Like if you call up the School of Music, if you have a trombonist, just call us. We will set up a day where he has a lesson, follows around a classmate, plays in an ensemble, and I'm sure all the other departments have that equivalent. But we really want that student on campus for at least a day so we can work our magic and pull them into our field, right? Yes.
So I play clarinet. So if I wanted to do this as a student, I would still have to take piano.
To be a major, yes.
Okay.
If you wanted to be just in an ensemble, no.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. But it's only 2 semesters for most degrees. It's just 2 semesters of class piano.
If you don't want to come for the day, the Department of Art and Design does host a first Wednesday event, which is from 7 to 9 on the first Wednesday of each full month in the semester. So there's 3 in the fall and then 3 in the spring. We just had one
Last Wednesday, yeah, 2 days ago.
and then we will have one in November and then February, March, and April as well. And it's an open studio event, so you can come see students can come see the department. They can work with the faculty. We all have different little projects that we show the community. It's open, it's free, and it's usually a lot of fun. A pretty popular event, but that could be another way to just kind of come experience the studios and stuff.
Once again, folks, thank you very much for your time. We wish you the best for the rest of your day and have a great weekend.
Thank you. All right. So the next college that will be joining us will be the, now it is the College of Arts and Sciences, as I tried to, put them before COFAC. So we've got several guests that will be joining us to talk about the various departments that are housed within the College of Arts and Sciences. So I don't know if you guys have rock, paper, scissors to see who goes first, but take it away. And we do have the camera that's pointing this direction is for our virtual audience. So we have about 24 joining us on Zoom.
Invisible podium.
I know.
Hello, everybody. I am Neil Hartnett. I am the Psychology, Anthropology, and Sociology Advisor at Western for majors and minors. There's no big changes in this year since last time we were here, which I think was virtual last time.
Yes, we were virtual last year.
So no changes from last year, but I want to go over some kind of insider bits just to make sure that you prepare your students well. First thing, and hand out this. I'm sorry I didn't have this done earlier. This is a to the psychology major. I'm going to talk about this in a second, but you should have a copy of this because this is something that's important that doesn't appear on our web pages or catalog in detail. We'll go over that in a moment. But just a quick synopsis about certain things you should be aware of. Sociology and anthropology majors at Western can be done fully online or hybrid. If you want to do a combination of in-person classes and online, you can. Most of our students these days seem to be online for those two majors. Psychology, you cannot complete the entire major online. You can complete a lot of it online, but the core classes, a lot of them still are in person at the current time, just a distinction there. So you can do social anthropology not being on campus, but psychology will require either a combination of transfer and classes here, or you will need to be present for classes on campus. Read my own writing here. All of these three majors have optional internships. They are not required, but they are optional and highly recommended, but students don't need to take them, but they are an option in the major if you want. In some institutions, those are required, but not at Western, they're optional. For the psychology one, for the last 2 years, that had been discontinued because of COVID, and now it's back on for the spring. It's called Field Experience in the Face of Psychology. Okay, last bit about, I want to mention statistics a little bit. Some students transfer in a statistics course and a math level statistics course, what we call Stats 171 at Western. That is totally fine and counts under Gen Ed Sciences. However, for the sociology and psychology majors, they both have required stats courses as well. I bring this up just because I do have transfer students who sometimes go, I'm taking stats again? And they're a bit shocked about that. Of course, if they've taken it already in a community college or elsewhere, they're going to be more prepared for these classes. And these classes typically in majors are quite difficult and challenging for students. So it's not all bad news, but for students who are good at it, they feel a bit redundant taking the major version of the, again, so the soc and the psych have stats, the anthropology does not. So when you're discussing with math classes or stats, just keep that in mind that they will definitely be doing other stats here, even if they do a math stats at the previous institution. The content of these classes will be very similar. So that's part of the annoyance for the students. Sometimes they're like, I learned all this stuff. And yes, you will learn it again, but with the context of that major somewhat. Okay, that brings me to science in general. The handout I gave you, if you look at the catalog, I think there's one line in the catalog for psychology that states students must complete a sequence. And that has been a bane because I have asked for years to get that expanded into what you see in front of you here. And I created this list. It's a BS in psychology, Bachelor of Science. They have to take 16 credits to complete it, including one 4-credit laboratory course. However, they also have to complete one of these 16 options of sequence. So if they're transferring in one half that already, that's great. But this can be a bit of a surprise to students. It's a pretty hefty requirement, and it requires a little bit of thinking to decide which of these they're going to take. The other thing to keep in mind is that for any department, you can take only 2 within a sub-department. So like you can take 2 biology related courses and no more than 2 that will count in the general education. So if you take 2 biology, then you should not take a zoology course. Or if you take 2 zoology, you should not take a microbiology course. I have noticed on occasion some students transfer in microbiology from another institution, and then that means they cannot complete one of these sequences because they now got too many classes. If that makes sense, because if they want to do Bio 100 and 101, which is the most common choice, now they have an extra biology class, and that's too many, and it won't count in Gen Ed. So if you're advising them about microbiology, that's the one that comes up a lot. Be cautious, because if they're going to do psychology, that might not be helpful to them. If you have the equivalent of botany or zoology or biology 1 or 2, or any of these other ones on here, totally great. Then you've got half of that done, but be careful with the micro, that can be a problem. I think that's all I had. There's no new changes to the majors. It's the same as they were last year. Does anybody have any questions or clarification concerns on those majors? You're all welcome to email me. I assume, are we distributing contact information?
Yes. We'll get, there'll be additional information after the conference for contact information. The Google form that all the academic advisors filled out, that contact information's in that form, and that will also be sent out to everybody that attended today and everybody that's joining us virtually.
So if you'd like a digital copy of this document, sorry, it's just a Word document at this time. I'm still hoping I'll get it in the catalog someday. Please email me and I can send you a copy if that would help. Okay, thank you.
Good morning. I'm Ellen Coulter, and I am also an advisor in the College of Arts and Sciences. My areas are English, history, political science, foreign languages and cultures, and liberal arts and sciences. And that includes the secondary education programs for English, history, and foreign languages. So I'm going to start this morning just touching on a couple of things about the gen ed, and then I'll go, there's a few little things about a couple of the majors that I want to talk about. So in terms of the general education, for all of our programs, of course, the Associate of Arts will buy them out of all of their university gen ed and most of their College of Arts and Sciences gen ed, with a couple of exceptions. The one major that you have to watch the gen ed very closely is the history education, because history ed has very specific gen eds that are required. They have to have psychology 100, they have to have anthropology 110, and of course I'm using our numbers. That would be the world regional geography, or they can do human, world regional or human geography. They have to have cultural anthropology. They have to have intro to psychology, which is our Psych 100. They have to have either economics 100 or 231, our numbers. They have to have the equivalent to our geography 121. So as you're working with history education majors, if you can make sure that they take those specific gen eds as part of their associates, then when they get here, those are done. I have a lot of transfer students who come in and they have the Associate of Arts, but they haven't taken those specific gen eds. So then they have to go back and take all of those. And they're usually really unhappy with me when I tell them that they have to go back and take those classes. So that's the one major where gen ed is really important to keep an eye on those specifics. In terms of the individual majors, with English, it's kind of the same as always. If they can get a couple of the English major courses done while they're there, that just helps keep their English load a little bit more manageable. Those last 2 years, it's, you know, a whole lot of reading and writing in the same semester if they're taking, you know, 3, 4, sometimes 5 English classes at a time. We have gone back to requiring the British Lit Survey and the American Lit Survey. We have done away with that for several years in favor of the, what we call the forms courses, the Intro to Poetry, Intro to Fiction, Intro to Drama. We've now swung back the other way. So I think most of you still offer the Brit Lit and the American Lit surveys. So for English majors, make sure they get those two done there if you can fit those into their program, and then they'll already have those done when they get here. History, nothing new there in terms of the major. Political science, the only thing I would tell you, starting last year, this is our second year, I believe, we now have the political science major fully online. So that is an option for students if they want to get a degree in political science, but they can't be in Macomb, or they want to attend, you know, Quad Cities campus, they can still do the political science major and do it online. That's only for our general option. If they want to do pre-law or our comparative government, you know, international relations, the public policy options, those are still Macomb only, but the general option is available online. Let's see, liberal arts and sciences. The new thing there is we've sort of reworked the options within that major. There used to be 3 separate options or tracks in that major. Right now, we still have the paired minors option. And then we have a new option in African American Studies. So, and that is brand new as of this current year. So that's an option for students as well. And then finally, foreign language. The main thing with foreign language is if they can get the full 2-year sequence done in either French or Spanish. So it would be, you know, the 2 years of, you know, elementary Spanish or French 1 and 2, and then sophomore year that intermediate level, Spanish or French 1 and 2. Then when they get to us, they can jump right in at the 300 level without any issues and get everything done in 2 years. If they come in and they either haven't had that credit or they can't place high enough to go right into the 300 level, then that can sometimes add an extra year to their program just because they have to take the 200 level courses before they can start the 300 level. So that's the most important thing with foreign languages. I think those are the main things I wanted to point out. Does anybody have any questions about any of those programs?
Do have a couple online. The first one is you went to world history versus Western civilization. If history majors don't have the world when transferring, will that make it take longer at WIU?
It does not. That's a great question because that happens a lot with a lot of two-year schools coming in. We require world history 1 and 2, but most of you have Western civilization 1 and 2. Have them take Western Civ 1 and 2. We sub it for our world 1 and 2. So that's not an issue. Yeah.
And then the other one is 1 or 2 semesters of British literature and American literature for English majors.
Okay, it's 1 semester each. So we require 1 semester of Brit Lit survey and 1 semester of American Lit survey. For those of you who have a 2-course sequence in each, it doesn't matter which one they take. So as long as they come in with 1 Brit Lit survey and 1 American Lit survey, then we will sub them for our Brit Lit survey and our American Lit survey.
And another one came in.
Okay.
For foreign language, if student has biliteracy credit and only completes level 3 and 6, but they might mean 3 and 4, do they need to make up credits for level 1 and 2?
If they come in with the seal of biliteracy, and I'm assuming that student would be coming in with credit for our 223 and 224, I'm assuming is what that converts to, then no, what they would want to do is go ahead and take our placement exam here. And then the placement exam here cannot hurt them. So let's say they come in with seal of biliteracy, or you know they've taken a couple of courses and come in and they want to try to test higher. If they have that credit, they take our placement exam. Let's say they already have credit for 224 and they place into 224. We're not going to make them go back and take 224. They can go ahead and go on up to the next level. But taking that placement exam here allows us to go back and give them those earlier credits. So for the 121 and 122, for example. And so that's how we would handle that. We never have students go back and take earlier credit that's before what they've already taken. So I'm not sure I explained that very well, but hopefully that makes sense. Tell them to chime in again if not, if they need further clarification. Any others? Okay.
Thank you.
With that, I'm going to turn it over to Jennifer Sanford Rubio. So y'all have a great day.
Thank you. All right. So I also advise a wide range of things. So I have the GIS, which is geography, GIS. We also have in there the meteorology degree and geology. Geology has 3 sub areas as well. And then we also have the chemistry, which includes forensic chemistry, pharmacy, biochemistry, regular chemistry. I think that's all of them. There's chemistry education as well. Physics, which includes engineering physics and physics education. Biology. The parts of biology that I advise are everything not medical. So zoology, botany, microbiology, and environmental biology. And finally, there's of course biology education. And I also advise math, because why not? So, all of the areas of math. We should have the math co-chair here later, and so he might be able to give some information. He wants to talk to you about math placement anyway. So, but yeah, for all of my areas except for geography, GIS, basically we're looking at starting calculus, hopefully, or at least getting into calculus 1 or 2. The chemistry majors, I know most of you offer organic 1 and 2. That's totally fine if they take organic 1 and 2 there, just so the student knows they will be short like 9 hours upper division credit when they get here and do that. So oftentimes I'll say, hey, for the forensic chemistry major that normally doesn't require a minor, you should add a minor. So if the student is asking, why do I need a minor and no one else does, is to make up the upper division, so you're not just taking classes for the sake of taking classes. Let's see, I just have such a wide area. Classes. Within the chemistry and physics, by and large, they don't need a biology class. I know a lot of you have a required biology class and things like that. For math, they also require a similar sequence that Neil had mentioned. So if they do like Bio 100, they need to do our Bio 101. And I have a lot of students in math in particular who push back against having to do math classes or non-math classes. So that's one of those things to keep in mind, is they do need a sequence of lab courses like that. Especially for the education math folks, they really are like, why do I need extra labs? That's why. And so I think for me, it's probably better to just throw it out there to questions, because I have such a wide range of things. None of my majors have really changed in the last year. Again, GIS, geography, those are available online. None of my others are available online. Obvious reasons, don't want to do chemistry at home. Yeah, do you guys have any questions?
Can you remind everybody which majors you advise again in case?
Sure. Chemistry, all of chemistry, physics, math, everything in geology, geography, meteorology, and the biology, everything that's not medical.
Any questions for any of those majors?
Still having any changes? Okay. Theo, we'll talk to you about everything then.
The reason why you all came. So yeah, I brought some notes. I was also bad and didn't bring them ahead of time because that's what I do. So first we'll start off with medical sciences, which I advise, and then we'll get to the fun one, nursing. So medical sciences, obviously, this is what we call pre-med here. And it's actually more than just pre-med, it's pre-dentistry, pre-physical therapy, pre-optometry, pre-vet falls into this as well. So there's two different tracks for medical sciences. There's one with a chemistry option and one with a physical or a psychology option, which I actually didn't bring that one because it's the exact same. I'm just trying to save paper. The only difference is between the two options is the minor. So the pre-med, PA, that sort of thing are chemistry minors, and then the PT people are psychology minors. Okay, and that's the only difference between the two. But yeah, so basically what I always recommend for any students that are wanting to do pre-med medical sciences area is math, because math is such an important piece in terms of our chemistry here and getting started on chemistry. So if they don't come with any math and they're way behind, not just in math, but also in chemistry. So math is more important than basically any other thing for students that, or any other courses that students wanting to do pre-med can take is math. Beyond that, I'm not too picky. Just get them going in math, and then the rest we can work around for sure. Any questions about medical sciences before you move on to nursing? So, yes.
Do you have any of these professional programs here at Western?
No. So they all. So this is just the 4-year degree, and then they would have to transfer to a medical school or a PT school or dental school. So they would have to then transfer beyond that. So no, we do not.
So a question from online is Calculus 1 sufficient or more math is needed? Would statistics be needed too?
Calc 1 is all that we need beyond statistics. So we need statistics and Calc 1 is what we need for medical sciences. So yeah, so our Math 133 and our Stats 171 is the math that's required. Unfortunately, many of our students have to take many more math classes to get into Calc 1, but yeah, that's all that required. So if they come in transferring Calc, we're good. And stats isn't as important in terms of the chemistry sequence. It's the math, it's the non-statistic math course that are the important part. Any other questions about pre-med stuff? One thing I do want to highlight that I don't think you guys hear from them later is the pre-vet. WIU has kind of a weird pre-vet situation going on where we have kind of pre-vet in the ag department. And we also have pre-vet in medical sciences, biology area. Both work. One, I would say, and Ember Keithy might be talking to you guys later about this, but the ag part is the way I envision in my mind is more for those students that want to work with large animals, right? And then ours is more of non-large animals, right? People that, most vets have to do everything, right? They don't just get to pick and choose, but especially in a rural area, you're gonna have to do everything. But ours is more probably geared towards small animals, right? And so in the ag department, they get to get that experience of hands-on with large animals. Ours, we don't, but we give them, our pre-vet allows them to take all the classes they would need for vet school without any extra courses. Okay, like we can get into the details of that if you want to. Get a little hairy, but we can get into that if you want to. Nursing. Okay, so nothing has changed in particular. We did finally officially change our chemistry requirement to Chem 114. Now I know none of you guys I'm aware of have anything equivalent to Chem 114. That's okay. We just need one semester of any chemistry. I don't care if it has a lab. I don't care if it's online. Ours is online. Just one semester of chemistry, whatever it is. It's not Chem 101. It's not Chem 102. Just one semester of any chemistry, period. Okay. And I will make a substitution if needed. But other than that, it's still, the way nursing works, 2 years of prerequisites. They then have to apply and be accepted into the nursing major during their junior year. That acceptance is primarily based upon their GPA for those first 2 years. We require a C+ in all support courses, which include chemistry, statistics, anatomy 1 and 2, nutrition, EDS, and microbiology. So they require C+ in those classes. If you guys do not have a C+ requirement, then a C is okay. Or if you don't have plus-minus grading, then a C is okay. Okay, I know most of you guys do. Isn't you guys still not on C+? You guys all plus-minus? No? Okay. There's a mixed bag. We've been that way for forever, and I know it's a mixed bag. So a C is fine for those. But keep in mind that while a C is okay for those courses, a C on a grading scale is a 2.0, right? And we require a 3.0. So if they get a C in, say, microbiology, they don't have to retake that course, but they need to make sure that they get A's somewhere else, right? To make sure that they meet their GPA requirement. Okay. So again, the requirement is a 3.0 overall and a 3.0 in those science courses. Okay. Questions? Yes, please.
So some of these colleges are doing a bridge program.
Okay.
Do we do that here?
It depends on what do you mean by bridge program, I guess?
So an LPN to RN.
Oh, yes. So no, we do not. So that was
RN to BSN.
Yes, we do RN to BSN. Sorry, I always forget RN to BSN. We do an RN to BSN program. Yes. So if you have a nursing program at your school and you have an ADN program, we definitely offer an RN to BSN. It's a two-year program. It's about 33 hours to complete in nursing, but there may be some additional gen ed courses they would have to complete because the ADN program doesn't meet our gen ed requirements, as some of you are probably aware. So they may have to take a humanities here or there, a multicultural class here or there to fill in those gen ed requirements. But 33 minimum hours. It's a fall spring program. It's all online, completely online. So they do not have to. I've had students in Florida do our program and Iowa, everywhere in between.
If they have their AA plus their ADN, they might be able to trim it down to 1 year?
No.
No. Okay.
No. It's always 2 years because they will never have the nursing requirements complete. So the nursing requirements are always 2 years, but it's part-time. So it's 2 to 3 classes per semester, and they cannot go any faster than that. The way it's currently set up, I'm trying to get that curriculum changed. But right now it's 2 years is the absolutely fastest they can get through. Okay. But any additional gen ed would be just on top of those. So that first semester, maybe they would take 3 nursing courses and then they would add in a gen ed on top of that first semester. That second semester, again, 2 to 3 nursing courses add on a gen ed that they may need on top of that. Thank you. I said RWS. Any other questions about nursing admissions? We can talk all day about this. We admit every fall semester only, a fall only. We admit anywhere around 40 to 50 students per year, okay? Which I know some of the visits you guys may go to, that seems like a scary small number, and it is. But if your students meet the qualifications, they will likely be accepted. We have only turned away one qualified student over the last 10 years. So if they meet the requirements, it's likely they'd be accepted. Okay, there's no guarantee, but it is likely that they would be accepted. Okay, as if you compare that to, say, an ISU or a Southern or someplace like that, pretty sure they can't say that. Okay, so that is a good selling point for them to at least look at our program. Is that if they do well, there's a good chance they'll get accepted.
So we've got a couple questions online.
Sure.
The first one is in nursing.
Yes.
Chemistry, fundamentals of chemistry, basic chem, not university level, but AIA chemistry. Would that work, or should the student take university oriented chemistry?
Any chemistry course. I mean, I don't want to go into, I don't want to be tied down to specifics on it. Any single semester of chemistry of any type, kind, as long as it has a chem prefix and it's 3 hours or more, we'll take it. Again, doesn't have to have a lab, doesn't need to be face-to-face. Apparently chemistry is not important in nursing, I don't know. that's kind of the way things are going with chemistry and nursing. We may get rid of it altogether.
Another question is, do the courses still have a 5-year time limit?
Yes and no. So we're pretty, so in the catalog, it says that their science courses must be newer or within 5 years, or they have to repeat them. That depends upon what they've been doing in that time frame, right? So if they say they graduate from WIU, right, and it was 10 years ago, and it was a biology degree, but they've been teaching biology for the last 10 years, then I'm not going to make them retake biology courses, right? Or if they've been working in a lab, or if they've been a nurse working as an RN for the last 10 years, we don't make them retake that. So it's dependent upon what they've been doing, but also we're pretty lenient. If they're a very good student, and we're pretty lenient, but that is kind of the guideline. But I always say, check with me first. I'll take a look and see, and make a decision after that.
And then another is, could students potentially take the additional gen eds they might need for the RN to Bsn program at a community college and then transfer them in?
100% yes, absolutely. Because we, I don't know, we skirt the 60-hour rule at WIU. You have to have 60 hours from a 4-year university. We skirt that rule by giving advanced placement credit for your ADN degree. So we actually give them advanced WIU placement credit of 30 hours plus our 33. It gets them to 60. So it covers upper division hours, and it covers the 60-hour rule for university. So they can absolutely take all gen eds elsewhere, because a lot of those aren't offered online potentially, but they can take them at any local community college 100%. Any other questions about? So the application is due March 1st. If you have any students that are interested in it, the application, either you guys email me and I'll send you the link to it. It's an online application for nursing CAS. I think the link is on that sheet I gave you, maybe, possibly. But it's through nursing CAS. If you have students that are interested, email me. I can send you the link to it. Just they fill out, they create a profile, and then it's just an online application that allows them to apply to not only WIU, but any nursing school in the country that uses nursing CAS. A lot of PT schools use this system. It's the same system, but we use it for nursing. So it does cost money. It's not free. I don't get the money, unfortunately. It goes to the nursing CAS people for their work. But yeah, it allows them to apply to several schools. It's amazing one, actually.
Someone also asked, how many nursing applicants do we have on average?
So that's a good question. I can tell you that we get around 100 to 150 applications each year. But as I mentioned, over the last 10 years, only one qualified student has not been admitted. And so what that tells you is that a lot of those applications are not qualified students, which means that they're likely don't have the GPA either overall or in their science area. Any other questions before I get kicked out for math?
Someone said, what's the average GPA of those admitted as a transfer student?
For as a transfer, I don't know specifically just for transfers, but I can tell you overall last year was a 3.3. So I haven't broken down into separate, WIU versus, I just altogether the average was a 3.3. So, but ours range from, we have 4.0s all the way down to right at 3.0. So we have a wide range, but last year I think it was 3.3. It's usually around that 3.3, 3.4 kind of range. It's usually where it's at. But again, if they have a 3.0, so yeah, I get that question a lot from parents and students and asking what the average is. I think it's a good question. I think the better question is, what's the minimum that you accept, right? Because that's, and not that we should encourage our students to shoot for the minimum, right? But the minimum is what's important, right? So for example, you could say that SIU, I don't know if this is true or not, but for example, their average was a 3.8, but the lowest I got in was a 3.6, right? Well, our average is a 3.4, but the lowest I got in was a 3.0, right? So that I think the minimum is more important than what the average is from my perspective. Yes.
And then all your BSN classes, they're all they're face-to-face.
Correct. Well, the clinical, we have a few that are online, a few like a couple of our electives, our genetics courses online, our one of our community classes that are online, but yes, they're all face-to-face, all in Macomb. Okay. RN to BSN, fully online, taken anywhere, but the pre-licensure, the BSN, strictly in Macomb, face-to-face. I have some commuters, I'm not sure how they do it, but basically you need to be in Macomb because it's 5 days a week, late nights for clinicals at times. Any other questions? So you guys they can transfer after a semester, obviously they can transfer after a semester, after a year, or go transfer straight into, try to get into the nursing program. So it doesn't matter when they transfer, just as long, the only thing that we require again is that GPA, but also they have to have all those courses complete, but they have the summer until the start of that. So if they're wanting to start, let's say you have a student that's wanting to start this coming fall 23, they have until August of 2023 to finish up any prerequisites. All right. So we allow them all the way through August to complete those courses. Or, well, not all the way through August, because class will be starting, but we say August 1st, but whenever, sometimes summer classes in August 2nd or 3rd of the year. So they have that summer as well to finish up classes. I better let Matt talk. They're gonna. We can all take a nap.
You're Neil, right?
Theo.
Theo, sorry. Nice to meet you in person. I've never been in a room with Theo.
If you guys, if you guys have any other questions, my email is on that sheet, so email me, let me know. Thank you guys.
Yeah, I became assistant chair in the pandemic. So almost everyone of all the advisors I've only seen or talked to on Zoom. So I do have a handout. Are you running the Zoom?
Yes.
Okay, because I would like you to show this here.
I can hand it out to the crowd.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I do have a handout today, and it is available electronically. And the electronic form, and what's your name?
Taylor.
Taylor?
Yep.
Thank you, Taylor. I'm going to have Taylor show this by sharing the screen. And the nice thing about doing it electronically is that all the links are clickable. Okay, so the shortcut is there's a bit.ly, and I've got this in the upper right hand corner. bit.ly/wiu-transfer-math, okay? So I'm Jim Olson. I'm assistant chair in math and philosophy. So I can talk today about math placement. I do the math placement for all incoming students, whether they're transfer or freshmen. I can also talk about the math major and majors and minors and so on.
If I share my screen.
Yeah, that'd be great.
We quickly drop this to a cable for other participants.
This is odd that they're not letting the presenter present, but it's okay. I think it's our first time actually back together in quite a while. So we're trying to kind of figure out the new way of doing things. And I use Zoom all the time. So
drop the link to our participants.
yeah, you can also put it in the chat. Did you already do that?
Yep.
Okay, now can you share your screen? There you go. Sweet. Okay, all right, that's fine.
Perfect.
Actually, the problem with that is it may not work. It's better. We'll see if it works. So right here is the link. Okay. And all these things should be live links, and we're going to test it here. Maybe you remember last year, I did present last year when we were doing it on Zoom, that we're no longer teaching intermediate algebra. We've got 2 introductory classes now for people at the lowest level. Math 100, core competency in math, and Math 110, which is introductory college algebra, for the people that need to go to college algebra and business calculus or regular calculus or something like that. Let's just try, Taylor, this found here link and just see if it works.
Look at that.
Okay, very good, cool. That worked. So let's go back. That's a little bit old news now. We are still kind of in a transition period last year and this year. So if we have transfer students last year or this year that brought in intermediate algebra, we were using that in placement. But starting next fall, we won't be using the intermediate algebra to help. Okay. And now let's go ahead and try to go to the placement area. My first year on the job did a lot of work. That's good right there. My first year on the job, we spent a lot of time improving our math placement and improving our website. So there's a lot of information here. This is the overview, and pretty quickly here, we won't scroll down to it, but pretty quickly, it talks about 100 in Math 110. But there's 3 ways of improving placement with coursework and test score like SAT or the placement test. So let's go ahead and do the placement test on the left side. And there's a number of here to go ahead and hit the first one, which is overview. So this is an overview of the ALEKS placement test. This is optional. It can only improve the student's placement. And there's a lot of, most of these pages on the right-hand side are short pages, okay? So maybe we'll hit the ALEKS scores and placement here on the right-hand side as an example. Is your,
My face was in the way.
Yeah. You got to rearrange your Zoom screens because you can't click on something. Okay, yeah. So anything above a 46, they're going to improve their placement. These are the Gen Ed courses. 50 to 60. This is college algebra and all the way. They can place all the way into Calc 1, which is Math 133, using the ALEKS test. It's only $15, and there's retakes. It's a great option for improving somebody's math placement. But it is taking a math test, okay? And people avoid that. But they can save themselves a lot of time, a lot of courses, and a lot of tuition by spending the $15 and improving their math score so that they can place in a higher course. Okay. Are there any questions on the math placement?
So I saw something about high school coursework. So you use high school coursework for math placement?
Yes, we use both the high school and the community college.
Okay, can you explain what high school coursework places students in what classes?
Actually, high school coursework alone with no test score only improves them a little bit. So, yeah, keep sharing. I tell you, I am a visual person.
That's okay.
Okay.
I was checking the chat.
I am a visual person. I want you all looking at the same thing I'm looking at. So let's come here to the high school and transfer coursework on the left side. So there's, of course, AP. We're familiar with that. Scroll down. There's dual credit, of course. So if they're taking these dual credit, they place in these higher categories. But her main question is about high school, and it's right here. If they take pre-calculus in high school, that does put them in category 2. Okay, so they can take the gen eds. Okay, now if they want to go higher than that, we need some test score. Okay, just taking it in high school and without a test score, it does get you in the gen eds, which is great, but you can't go higher than that. Scroll down. I also want to make a comment right there. Is good. Thank you. The transitional math courses, the PWR Act, Post-Secondary and Workforce Readiness Act. We have transitional math for quantitative literacy and statistics. We accept that one. And the transition to STEM high school course, we accept that. Did that answer that?
Yes.
Did I see a hand over here? Yes.
I don't know if this would ever happen, but we also administer Alex. Would you ever take our school?
No. We just don't do that. Part of it is a logistical nightmare, and almost all my secretaries and all my help were taken away for various reasons. So we don't accept outside Alex schools. Great question. Other questions on placement? Any other questions on placement? Okay. So if we could go back to the document, looks like you still got it down in your first tab there in the upper left.
Yeah, she's running chat and.
Okay, that's fine.
Right
That's
now.
fine. Yeah.
Okay, so where would you like me to go again?
Let's go back to the document, which I believe is your first tab, which is our handout today. Okay, so we've talked about the entry-level math placement, and then let's scroll up a little bit so we can see this transferring as a math major. Okay. And this is my department. I'm in teacher ed for elementary, middle school, and high school math, but the secondary math is in the Department of Math. So there's a link there. If they're transferring as a math major, if they can have calculus, that's great. We've got 4 exciting options. Let's go ahead and hit the 4 options link, trying to break this to see if it works. Okay, cool. Yeah. Let's scroll down a little bit. And we've got 4 really nice videos. The option A is kind of pure math. Option B is the teacher ed. Option C is data science and statistics. And option D is actuarial science. And we've got great videos for these. Appreciate you helping here, Taylor. So I don't really have a whole lot more. We've got lots of scholarships. Other questions regarding the math?
I did have a question about placement. Since you don't accept outside scores, is Western available for virtual testing, or does it have to be on campus?
It is virtual.
Okay.
Alex is virtual. They do it at home.
Okay.
So they don't need an active proctor.
No, that's a good question. It is not proctored.
Okay.
Yes, Alex is done completely online from anywhere in the world. It's not proctored. Great question. Other questions on placement or math? Well, I tell you, this is exciting, being back together, okay? And appreciate you being here. And it's nice we've got a lot of people on Zoom. I'm glad there was a Zoom option. It would have been kind of strange to not have that. I think I'm going to get out of the way. Anything else, Cassie or Taylor, I need to go over here?
Are there any other additional questions for?
Okay,
the
I'm
math
glad
department?
I got on the docket because I just found out about this about 3 days ago.
Oh,
Any
wow.
other questions about our college in general? Because I'm lead advisor, I can probably answer some of them, just not in the weeds. No. Okay, well, I don't know what your schedule is, but I hope lunch is included, so.
No, it's not. We're gonna. Orange and stuff, yes. Just the fruit, that's what we had. So those of you that are on Zoom, we are at our break time, a little ahead of the break time. We will resume with the College of Education and Human Services updates. Our education department is within that college. So at 12:30, we will resume. So those of you that are on Zoom, feel free to take a break. Hopefully you will be able to rejoin us at 12:30. Those of you that are in the room, now is the time to take your biology break. And also lunch will be served in the Lincoln room, which is actually directly behind us. So we have a full slider bar or famous tiramisu cupcakes, which I'm most excited about. I was kind of hoping like 10 of you didn't show up so I could take home the extras, but I will survive. So yeah, please feel free. You can leave your stuff in this room. We will just be in the room behind if you'd like to leave your items. And then the restrooms are down the hall and to my left as you walk up the door. All right, we will pause those on. Live at 12:30. Those of you that are in the room with us, I hope you enjoyed lunch. We have the next department up for updates is the College of Education and Human Services. And as you can see today, we have many friends from the College of Education and Human Services to talk through updates. Those of you that are back virtually, thank you for coming back after lunch. We'll resume as we were going at it this morning. So I'd like to first introduce Katrina Daitner and let her kick off and give all your titles and get us started.
Great. Thanks, everybody, for coming today. As Cassie said, my name is Katrina Daitner. I'm the interim dean of the College of Education and Human Services. And I will kind of go through. Oh, is it on? Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's on. Yep. There we go. All right, so we represent 6 undergraduate units, and I'm going to kind of go through these and introduce my colleagues here as we go through those. So the first one is our School of Education, and joining us today from our School of Education, or who can answer questions related to our School of Education, is Tammy Wilson, who is our licensure officer, so she'll be able to answer lots of those questions. Holly Van Blyman, who's our academic advisor. And then Dr. Eric Sheffield is our assistant dean for educator preparation. So he kind of oversees all of our education programs. In terms of our Department of Health Sciences and Social Work, we have Karen Zellman here, who represents social work. And then Stacy Dorsett, who is an advisor who has a number of programs, but in terms of health sciences and social work, she'll represent public health and health services management. In terms of our Department of Kinesiology, we have Dr. Randy Hilliard, who's our interim chair of the department. I think that's well, and Stacy can also, and Holly can, in terms of our physical education. In terms of our School of Law Enforcement and Justice Administration, we have Jill Myers, the director of the school, and Stacy can also help you with law enforcement and emergency management and fire protection services, which all fall under there. Our Department of Military Science, we have Carla Gorski, I should say Lieutenant Colonel Carla Gorski, who is the chair of the department, and Larry.
I'm the scholarship enrollment guy.
Thank you, scholarship enrollment guy. And he'll talk a little bit more about it. And then our last department is our Department of Recreation, Park and Tourism Administration. And we have our interim chair, Dr. Michael Kiernan, and a faculty member, Dr. Jeremy Robinette. So that's who's all here to kind of help. I'm just going to spend a little bit of time going over our different areas, giving you some updates, and then we'll give you an opportunity to ask any questions that you might have of our different programs. Yeah, so in terms of our education programs, and I need to, you probably are all aware of this, so not all of our education programs are actually located in the College of Education and Human Services. All of our secondary programs are located either in, well, in the other three, actually. They're located in all of the other three colleges. And then 2 of our K-12 programs are as well. So we're going to focus mostly on the ones here, but Tammy and Holly and Eric can all, if you have questions that go relate to those secondary programs, they can answer those for you. So in terms of elementary education, we have options in early childhood, elementary education, multilingual, ESL. And one thing you should know about our early childhood, we have both the licensure and non-licensure options. So that's something that has been a fairly recent addition to our programs. In addition, we have our middle level program, and the areas that we have for middle level are science, social studies, literacy, and math. Special education, we have a dual degree that includes a special education certification as well as elementary education certification, and then physical education. It's located in our Department of Kinesiology. These other programs are actually located in our School of Education. And then we have one non-licensure program, and that's our Educational Studies program. So that would be for students who are looking to be involved in some sort of education setting, but do not want to have licensure, don't want to be a teacher in charge of a class. So some of the updates, oh, sorry, forgot about our minors. We have 3 minors in education. We have educational studies. We have in the college, the middle level literacy. The other 3 programs are in other colleges, they're minors. And then our TESOL minor as well. Okay, so our update.
How'd you do that?
Well, I can talk through our updates. I do remember on the first page, we do have paraprofessional programs now for our elementary education, our early childhood education, and our special education. So if you have individuals who are looking for a really a program that has a lot of flexibility, that's for our paraprofessional program, and Holly and Tammy will be able to talk to you more about that. Second thing that I wanted to talk about, second update, was that we have seen a change in our GPAs in order to get into our program. So for our special education and our elementary education, it is now a 2.5. And for early childhood, it's a 2.0, and that's a state requirement. You probably are aware of that if you have early education programs. Okay, so we got through those 2. And then also, as I'm sure many of you are aware, right, we're now in terms of early childhood taking additional degrees that students can bring into the program and working through some of those articulations. In terms of a couple of updates related to our physical education, they have completely revamped their program. And so there's a lot more emphasis on authentic teaching, and a greater diversity of the types of topics that students are learning about and the different activities that students are learning about. And we also, for students who are interested in dance, we do have a dance endorsement that students can get along with their physical education degree. Okay, so public service and safety, we have our majors in terms of that. Our emergency management major, that is something that you can get you can take that as a face-to-face as well as an online degree. For our fire protection services, we have 3 different options that students can take. There's fire administration, fire science, and then our new fire medic program. And I'll talk a little bit more about that, and Jill will be able to talk to you more about that as well. And then we also have our law enforcement and justice administration. That is a program that they can take either online on the Macomb campus or on the Quad Cities campus. So lots of flexibility with that program. In terms of minors, I'm just going to show you all of the minors that they have in the School of Law Enforcement Justice Administration. As you can see, there's lots of different things that students as majors in the area, or we certainly have a lot of students in our other programs who take these minors as well. So our emergency management students, couple of things that I just wanted to focus on with respect to that. They have information that helps them in terms of response and recovery related to both man-made as well as natural disasters. So lots of emphasis on that. We also have an emergency operations center, which is located in Tanner Hall. And so students have the opportunity to be able to engage in activities at that center, as well as do some tabletop exercises, as well as virtual exercises. Students who are interested in emergency management but do not want to major in it, we do have 2 different minors, and they've really worked on looking at the different aspects of those. So students can either go the tactical route or they can go the operational route. So that's a nice combination. And you can see lots of, and Jill can tell you what all of these are, because I don't know that I know what all of them stand for. One of the big things that our emergency management program has been working a great deal on is making sure that they have the certifications and backgrounds for all of these different areas. So when students come out with a major in emergency management, they would be able to participate in any of those different areas. As I mentioned, we do have a new fire medic option for students. And so students in that fire medic option get a fire science bachelor's degree with the basic firefighter pro board certification, as well as then a paramedic license from that program. We do have our crime lab, and certainly anytime if you want to come on campus, and we'd be happy to give you a look at our crime lab. Lots of updates to our crime lab. And something that we always pride ourselves in is all of the individuals in our School of Law Enforcement and Justice Administration spent many years in FBI. We have people who are in FBI. We have chiefs of fire. We have all kinds of different areas before they came and became professors here at the institution. Next is our personal health and wellness. So we have nutrition and dietetics, nutrition and food service management, exercise science, health services management, public health, and social work. Again, a number of different minors, coaching, as well as nutrition and occupational safety students can take. In terms of nutrition and dietetics, one thing that's probably new to you all is that students are able to take the last 2 years of that program online for individuals who are interested in that. Something for those of you that have students who are interested in dietetics, the recommendation at the community college would be for them to take zoology instead of biology, because that sets them up better for the program. And we would encourage them again as they think about trying to kind of move into their program, it would be helpful for them to have that the Serve Safe Protection Food Protection Manager certification prior to coming to campus. Exercise science, we're really excited. I believe it was last spring. We were the first U.S. university to become accredited by the International University Strength and Conditioning Association. So for students who are really interested in strength and conditioning, we have a great program. There's lots of areas in terms of exercise science, but this is, a feather in our hat that we are the first United States, first university in the United States. So one thing that you should be aware of for students who might be interested, our health services management program, we now have an integrated program with the MBA, so they can get the undergraduate degree as well as the master's in a 5-year program. So that's something for students might be of interest. And another nice opportunity for students who might be interested in rural health, there's an opportunity. We see this also with our kinesiology students to get involved in rural health coaching opportunities. In terms of our social work, we're very proud, and Karen can talk a little bit more about our partnership with DCFS. And so students have the opportunity to take 2 courses on campus that gets them at a higher status in terms of the process and becoming certified in terms of DCFS. I said that correct? Okay. And then the other thing I think is really important about our program, a pride of our program, is there's a lot of emphasis on advocacy in terms of all the things that they do. Students have lots of opportunities to be involved in student organizations as well as volunteer opportunities. And then our leisure services. So our Recreation, Park, and Tourism Administration, we have several different options that students can choose from. Our Adaptive Recreation and Inclusion, community organizations, outdoor recreation, and then our tourism, hospitality, and event management. Again, they have a whole list of minors that you can pair with or from another major. So here are some certifications students might be interested in getting. They would be able to get the Park and Recreation Professional Certification in our program, depending on which option they take. Therapeutic Recreation Specialist Certification, and then the Serve Safe Manager, Food Handler, and Alcohol Certification. So again, if that's something that would be of interest to your students. Each spring, we do a summer opportunities, and sometimes it's career, and sometimes they're looking at internship, but lots of opportunities. Several of our programs do these kinds of fairs, I think, that are really useful for our students. And then each spring, they also do a professional development conference and bring lots of alumni back to be able to present at those. All right, our military science or ROTC program. So it is a minor that's available for all of our majors. And I will have Larry and Carl will probably talk more about this. So there is the transfer tuition waiver scholarship available for students. Paid summer training for students who don't have military experience. And then the on-campus tuition waiver scholarships for eligible students as well. So again, this is a great opportunity for students. And then I just want to talk a little bit about our spaces so that you're aware of those, some of the spaces we have. So all of our advisors are in the in Horriban Hall, either in our Center for Education, Preparation of Education Professionals or Advising Center. We have several new student lounges for students. What we found is that for a lot of students, right, they didn't have spaces to go to and to be able to hang out. So in several of our buildings, we've created these student spaces for them. Our McCamey Crime Lab, as I've already mentioned, our Emergency Operations Center. In Canal we have an executive kitchen that's used by both our Recreation, Park, and Tourism Administration faculty as well as our dietetics faculty. In Brophy Hall, there's a number of different facilities, and you have the link to see those. We have the Bella Hurst Diabetes Institute as well. And then one of our pride and joys is our outdoor education facility at Hornfield campus, which is about, what is it, probably 4 miles away from here. We also have some student success centers. So the difference between those is in part kind of between the student lounges and student success centers is kind of space and the types of opportunities in our student success centers. For example, if our students need to Zoom and it's difficult for them to do that from home, there's spaces for them to be able to do that. There's some conference rooms that they can check out within our student success centers. As I mentioned, our advising and all of our education related topics are in there. We do have a curriculum library on campus, several centers within our School of Education. We have our new Rural Education Center for students who might be interested in rural education topics. And then for students who might need either education majors who are going into early childhood, they get to work in the infant and preschool center, or if we have students who might need have a young infant or a preschooler, they can have their children go there. Both of my kids did, and they're now sophomore and an 8th grader. So it's been around and it's great service. All right, so that is all I have for you all. What questions do you have for you guys probably, what my understanding is we need to be here. So when they ask, you might need to come up. All right. Specific questions that anyone has for just plethora of resources.
So the one from the chat is, do you accept the AAS in early childhood since you really don't have a bachelor's in that specifically? So just kind of address that. And then are you participating in the ECACE Scholars Program? And if so, how is it set up?
So I'm gonna let Tammy or Holly or Eric come up, or all three of them come up and
okay, the first question that was, yeah, we'll do part one.
Thank you.
Is do we accept the AAS in early childhood? And then they said, since we don't have a bachelor's in that specifically, so maybe just touch on that first.
We do.
We have to. So this is part of the state legislated mandate for early childhood education programs. We take the AAS and we also have the means by which to give prior learning of credit for such things as work experience. And unless Faculty Senate denies our request and violates state law, AAS folks who come to us will have their gen ed waived. Again, that's state law because we are not allowed to violate the published credit hour cap for the early childhood program. And the only way to make that work is to waive gen ed because of the addition of accepting prior learning credits.
I think that answers the next question on whether we're part of the ESAGE scholarship.
Yeah.
Is yes, we are. Because of the state laws.
So when we say gen ed's met, so education has some very specific gen eds within that. Are those specific gen eds met or okay? And
we have to by law.
Was there a third part or was that it?
That was it so far, but it does have another one. Do you have an outline of what your last 2 years looks like? And is it fully online? And is it fully online?
Are we talking about the early childhood scholarship again, the ESAGE?
Yes, they responded to that.
Yes, we do have that. And maybe Holly can talk more about that.
Right, from a paraprofessional standpoint, yes. So you'd have to come in and be a current worker in either a daycare or a school setting in the early childhood realm. And then they would be able to do it online their last 2 years. And yes, I have an outline in my office. So I can get that to you, Taylor,
Yeah.
and or if they want to reach out directly to me, that's fine too.
Our para program that you're hearing us talk about is students that are currently paraprofessionals out in the workforce that can come in and take courses with us and get their teaching license. I've had some confusion. So is it a courses so they can become paraprofessionals? No, these are people that are already paraprofessionals out in the workforce and they're coming to get a teaching license in either elementary ed, early childhood, or special education.
And we've scheduled courses such that they can keep that paraprofessional job so they can work.
So all of our courses for the paraprofessional program are online. They're either asynchronous or they're offered after working hours. So some of our professors like to meet via Zoom or Google Meets or something, and those are scheduled after, daycares for the early childhood group or after school for the elementary ed and the special ed groups. And the LED group can also get their ESL endorsement. There is a a program for that for paraprofessionals as well. If anybody's
Actually, all of them can get the ESL endorsement, but we have it set up very nicely for the elementary ed. The other thing with that is for the para programs, the special ed and elementary ed, where we start a new cohort every summer. The early childhood, we're required to have available every semester, summer, fall, and spring starts. But the LED and the special ed is a summer start only for those cohorts.
And that AAS degree has to be in early childhood or something very, very closely related.
Or related field. So sometimes they're called something a little different, not early childhood education, maybe early childhood development. I think psychology is there's, yeah.
We would have to look at it and see, yeah.
I have a question about the AAS degree. So you're receiving it as is. But then also, are there any additional requirements where they have to have that level 4 gateways credential?
There are some requirements for gateways. I would have to refer to Dr. Lindsay Meeker to figure out exactly what all those requirements are. So when we have someone come in that situation, it is kind of a group of us that look at each candidate to make sure that they are qualified. We don't have Lindsay here with us.
No, we don't.
So.
I've been learning a lot about early childhood. I believe it maybe is Gateway 4.
I think you would have to do it for the online program. Now, if someone doesn't have that level 4 credential, would they still have to meet the requirements of the traditional program?
Not necessarily. It's a case by case, and we have to look at each individual, is my understanding.
They'll look at their gateways and see what they've taken and what courses and that kind of.
And then another scenario, sorry. So if someone has completed their AA degree and now they're wanting to pursue their 4-year, their bachelor's degree, they wouldn't have that Gateway's level 4 credential. So since they've already completed an AA degree, are they required to meet those traditional gen ed requirements, or can they still come in with this new ECA's program with the 2.0 grade point average?
I think a lot of that depends on if they've been a para and what, and I think, again, we'd have to look at it case by case. And I'd have to talk with Dr. Meeker.
And most within AA, they meet all the gen ed requirements anyway, correct?
AA.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily, yeah.
Like if they weren't planning on attending a 4-year institution. I'm speaking of a particular student that I'm working with too. So they might not have those requirements met, but they want to pursue a bachelor's degree now with a licensing option.
Refer that student to us and we can check. Yeah.
And that was one of our recommendations. As soon as you all know, if you have any education students that are thinking about transferring to Western, have them contact me as soon as they know, even their freshman year. So then that way we can look and see what classes you offer and how they're going to transfer into Western, and we can start working on that. If we don't have those articulations yet, then we can start working on those things. So it's a pretty seamless transfer. So go ahead and have them reach out and we can talk about it.
What's your name?
Holly Van Lyman. VAN VLYMEN. Sorry.
We have a couple more on chat. So one was, could a student transferring in with an AA degree who is working in the field as a paraprofessional also take this online course sequence for elementary ed?
Yes.
Yes. It would be a summer start and have them contact us right away so we can see what they've had and get them ready for the summer start next summer.
Another one was, do the incumbent workers have to be employed in the birth through second year range to be ECACE and AAS with Gateway 4? Or does that mean?
When you throw in Gateway, that just yeah.
I think the answer is yes.
I think so too,
Yes.
but we need to also verify all that.
We're gonna have to do a whole ESACE
Yeah,
session.
Oh, I wanted to speak up. We don't know what gateway, what that means.
Or the ECACE in Iowa. I don't know if we do.
Oh. You don't want to know about this. So the state of Illinois legislated that 4 years and 2 years basically got to work together to produce a certain number of early childhood caregivers and teachers. And if we do not succeed at the 4-year level, they're threatening to hand over that program to the 2 years. And we see that as the first domino potentially of other programs. So it's not pretty.
But there's another question too, is asking for students who transfer in ECE, what is the degree they earn from WIU, and is it a licensure degree? So I guess, I know that we have the licensure option, but can they also go the non-licensure track through the same program?
It's basically the same coursework, except for student teaching, they do an internship, and then they don't have to pass the content test and get the teaching license. So it's basically the same program. There's a little bit of difference.
So we have lots of others.
Yeah.
And there are questions that anybody has for our other areas? Were there any things that are other areas? I don't know how much time I have left. Oh, at one time.
Yeah, I feel so.
I'd like to follow up on what Katrina said.
Sorry.
I'd like to follow up on what Katrina said about in social work, we have the 2 child welfare courses. That's through our partnership with DCFS, and they actually give us the content. So we are teaching the exact same content that people learn when they get hired at DCFS or hired at Lutheran Social Services. Plus, in each course, they take 2 exams. And if they pass those exams, then they are eligible for their CWEL license, the Child Welfare Employee License. And then once they graduate, and if they get hired by DCFS, by Lutheran Social Services, by Center for Youth and Family Solutions, where they're doing child welfare work, then they can finish that license, because some of those things can't be done until you're actually hired in a job. But we set them up so that there's not very much more to do. That really gives them the edge on getting hired, because they can go to work like with 1 week of training, not the usual month of training. Because oftentimes when you get hired at Lutheran Social Services, you have to go to Springfield for a month before you're actually in the field working with children and families. So DCFS is trying to cut that down to just 1 week, and then let's get you out there working. So it really is very valuable to students if they know that's where they want to head. Not every job in child working with children require that license, but it really sets them up very well. And the students like the courses so far. We're getting a lot of positive feedback. They are intense. It gives you a taste of what working for DCFS would be like, because it's very intense and there's lots of paperwork, but they know what they're getting into. And I also always want to give a little plug that if you do have students who want to transfer into our social work program, if you don't offer an introduction to social work course at your school, then during the summer, we offer that online. And students really want to take it, because if they do that in the summer, earn a grade of C or better, then when they land here in the fall, they can start right in social work and finish up hopefully in those 2 years that they're wanting to do. Thank you.
Oh, we actually had a question. Does social work still need a 2.5 GPA to graduate?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Any other questions or any other things you all want to make sure?
I can talk a little about the entire program.
This is going to get interesting.
Okay, we have 2 big changes in the School of Law Enforcement. The one is our emergency management program. That is probably our fastest and most desired degree, because the pay is tremendous. It pays better than all other law enforcement areas out there. The beginning starting salary is about $76,000, but most of our graduates are making right off the bat over 100.
And we have the two different tracks, which are the tactical track and the operational track that are out there. And when she showed all those competencies, when you graduate from the program, you can have up to 10 to 20 certificates within the program that are going to get you hired with skill sets in search and rescue, in National Incident Management System, and all kinds of things for both FEMA, the Department of Defense. Like we said, people are being hired by the United Nations. And again, as we know, there's disasters everywhere. And so those are the people that are now responding to that. So it's a great opportunity for them to get to go and work either at the initial disaster or the recovery or the mitigation. And there's all different kinds of levels for it. The other big program that I kind of want to quickly talk about is our new fire medic option. And if you go into our fire medic program in the 4 years, you will end up getting both all of the FESHI, which is the Fire Emergency Services accreditation courses that you need, as well as your paramedic certificate. Again, if you're going to do that, you can take the paramedic. It's 27 credit hours. It takes 2 years. So again, when they come, they should be coming with their EMT certification, because you can't start the paramedic until you have an EMT certification. We're going to be offering that. We offer the EMT here in spring and fall. The paramedic program is got to be face-to-face because we have to have the hands-on ability. We have partnered with hospitals all over the state, ambulance services all over the state, and even down into the Missouri area that want to take our students so that they can get the hours in that they need for the practical aspects of it as well. And those are very hands-on classes. So they're actually doing things. Last week, they were inserting IVs into eggs, into chicken legs and things like that. So they get to do all kinds of fun stuff in the classrooms itself. So great opportunities for them. And again, to get a job in the fire services today, we added the paramedic because you really have to have the paramedic with it as well. That paramedic is also excellent for the emergency management side of the house as well. The EMT courses are good for that as well. So a lot of these classes can be part of a minor, or will get you, again, these jobs in some kind of a public safety component, or even for some of the social work aspects and things like that. They like to see that you have these skill sets out there from what we're seeing. So, and we too have the internships, but we also have a lot of the agencies are now trying to pay for our people to come and become interns with them. So it's a great opportunity for the students to do it. And our programs, other than the paramedic aspect, are fully online, as well as face-to-face or any combination thereof. Thank you. Sorry.
Okay. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Carl Laborski. I'm the chair of the Army ROTC department, and I bring the money, right? Ultimately, the U.S. Army appropriates $350 million towards education every single year. The largest grantor of scholarships there is comes from the DoD, and we give some of it, we give a lot of it back, right? So I can't consume all the money that we have. So we have a number of programs, and it gets complex fast, but we have a number of programs and we to pay for school. None of my cadets are eating ramen noodles, I assure you. And every one of them, depending on if they go active duty or in the reserve component when they come out. Active duty right now, a brand new second lieutenant with no time in service makes about $45,000 base pay. Now they get tax exempt housing allowance on top of that, subsistence allowance on top of that. In 4 years, they're about $80,000. Again, that's before all the housing allowances and whatnot. So it's lucrative. And then regardless of, obviously we do the tactical piece, but regardless of what major a student pursues, we have some job in the Army that matches. We have 17 branches in the Army. So granted, the infantry and the artillery and the tanks and all the rest of that stuff, but also law enforcement and personnel and logistics and not just maintenance of pieces of equipment, but maintenance of entire systems, right? So global supply chain. How do you get engines? How do you get parts for enormous fleets of vehicles? How do you manage the maintenance of fleets of vehicles that are not just being maintained, but also having to be operationalized? Think the trucking industry or the rail industry in the United States. Anyway, in my opinion, most of the students that attend community colleges have made a deliberate decision to make a kind of a career progression. I think I started at a community college, they're going to go to university right there. They are achieving their goals incrementally. I would like to think that the Army or the DoD is another way to do that, where they say, okay, you know what, I can get a guaranteed job and experience and other educational opportunities as a stepping stone to civilian life after the Army. So certainly interested in talking to anybody or helping you understand the programs that are available and opportunities after they graduate, whether it be active duty or in the reserve component. But the Army values education and continued education after they commission. I've got 2 master's degrees paid for by the Army. One of them, sounds boastful, not intended to be. I got an opportunity to go to Harvard, and you all paid for that. We can do that for others.
How much presence does the ROTC have in community college? Because I know we don't really see that.
We don't. So senior ROTC doesn't. We don't have presence in community colleges because you have to have a 4-year degree to be a commissioned officer. Claire,
and so that was going to be one of my points. For community colleges, folks, we get a lot of students who think they have to have some military experience. You have to have 0 military experience. If you come from a community college to transfer to Western, if you have 2 years, when you arrive here, if you contact me the semester before you go, we can send your student to 30 days of training where they can get a taste of what the Army life is like. They get paid, they get their travel paid, and when they arrive here at Western's campus, they are fully qualified to start the ROTC program and finish their bachelor's degree if they meet with their academic advisor in 2 years. So we do not add any more time to that program. They can also contact me, and there are scholarships that they can compete for. I know not all of them are looking for scholarships, but they're looking for that leadership development. And that's really what we provide is leadership development, because again, as Carl said, a lot of our students leave the military service and go into these big companies because they are hiring our young captains who've been in the Army for 4 to 8 years because they've got leadership, problem solving, communication skills, all those things these big companies are looking for. So we're not just pushing, I push the money just as well, but I'm pushing the leadership experience and the development for them. And ROTC, college ROTC is different from junior ROTC. So your students do not have to have junior ROTC experience, no experience at all. If they just reach out to me the semester before they come, I will work them through that process. That's my full-time job. Luckily, ROTC has a full-time scholarship enrollment guy, and that is me. And I have my business card, so I'd be happy to leave it with anybody. If not, I handed out 2 flyers about that, and our ROTC contact information is on the back of that as well.
Do students still have to meet the same health requirements?
Yes, ma'am. What will happen is if they contact me that semester prior, we will send them to get a physical, no cost to them. The Army pays for the physical. It could be, what school are you from?
Oh, Sauk Valley Community College.
So we get the local address and where they're at. And what they do is they look for a physician within the 50 to 60 mile radius of where the student lives. And then the Army pays or contracts for that physician to give that student the exam. And I try to do all that stuff ahead of time so they know that they're medically qualified to continue, because I don't want to waste their time by giving them hope that they are going to actually be able to get. And we do have the same requirements, no asthma. There are certain other things, and diabetes. There's all these issues some of this is waiverable. Some of this is waiverable, depends on how far asthma is, things of that nature. I'm not a medical guy. That's why I send them to the doctor. I let the medics talk to them about that. Great question, man. Thank you.
Any other questions or any?
And just be sure to stand over here, or the people on camera can't see you.
Sorry.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm Dr. Hildegard from the Department of Kinesiology. I don't know if you guys really are familiar with the term kinesiology. It's not, it's obvious. It's like the history department or the psychology department or whatever. In fact, when people ask me which department I work in, I tell them the kinesiology department. You can kind of see the wheels in their head going around like, what does that mean? And then they usually ask me, well, how do you spell that? And then I panic and I forget how to spell it. With undergraduate, we basically have exercise science, physical education, teacher education, nutrition and dietetics, and nutrition and food service management. We also have 2 graduate programs, kinesiology, which is similar to exercise science. A lot of our exercise science students go into the graduate kinesiology program, and sport management. So we thought about changing our name to the Department of Exercise Science, Physical Education, Teacher Education, Sport Management, Nutrition and Dietetics, Nutrition and Food Service Management, and I think I forgot one. But instead we went with kind of an umbrella term, kinesiology, which covers all the bases, but nobody actually knows what it is. So it's kind of a dilemma. Do you want to put people to sleep with a long title, or do you want to keep it concise and maybe a little more mysterious? We have our facilities, Broken Hall, north end of campus. It's one of the largest buildings on campus. We basically have it to ourselves. We have, all electronic classrooms and labs and computer labs and a pool and a gym and all kinds of facilities in there. So we have a really, really good facility for kids who are interested in physical education, exercise science, and all those areas.
Jill, you wanna say something?
We'll wrap real quick. So we're gonna follow the trend of names that probably need to be changed, right? So Department of Rec, Park, Tourism Administration, which often leads people to think of very specific things. What I'd like to have in your head instead is anybody that's interested in designing, delivering, or evaluating leisure experiences. That's what we do. So if you have a person that's very interested in working with people in order to provide opportunities for people to stay engaged in their communities, if they want to make money as they're going and creating good times and educational times for people, great field for them. Our students on average will complete over 600 hours of hands-on learning. So we're great for the people that want to do things, right? The ones that actually want to apply the things that they're learning in a classroom into a situation. 2 areas that we are very proud of. We have a 93-acre experiential campus, the Hornfield campus that was being talked about, that offers opportunities for facilitation of outdoor experiences as well as team building. There's a high ropes course, low ropes course, variety of things there. And then we also have the Knobloch kitchens. Back in the day, about $250,000 worth of equipment was donated by corporate sponsors. So our students actually learn how to manage, use, operate a wide variety of kitchen equipment that they would use when they go into professional practice. So when we're talking about people that are going to own their own catering business, when we talk about people that are interested in going into the event planning world and actually knowing what's going on behind the scenes, we're great for them, right? Our program, as Dr. Dayton mentioned, we have a lot that goes on within us, right? So it's one major, 5 options. Adapted recreation and inclusion is for individuals that want to work with minoritized communities, be it individuals that have disabilities, be it folks that maybe for a wide variety of reasons are not often included in recreational programming. That's what we're focusing on in that one. Community organizations is going to cover park districts, recreation agencies, as well as nonprofit administration. So if you have folks that are really interested in doing things with United Way, any of those areas, please send them our way. We also have outdoor recreation. This is going to include everything from resource management, the people side, right? If they come to you and they're like, I want to be a park ranger working with the trees, send them to zoology. If they come in and they say, I want to be a park director or a park ranger and I want to enforce the rules and like get strict with them, send them to law enforcement. If they come in and they say, I want to be a park ranger because outdoors is important and I want to teach people all about it, give them to us, okay? That's going to be our outdoor recreation area. And then last, tourism, hospitality, and event management. As we come out of the COVID world, this is an area that is booming as far as jobs. So the leisure services in hotels, if we're talking about event planning, meeting management is one of the fastest growing fields when we begin to look at this. Cool thing about our major, we've done a lot of research and we know that our students are getting jobs. They're not getting the $80,000, $100,000 job when they graduate, but they're getting jobs. They're getting jobs quickly. They're finding ways to advance through. So you have people that want to design, deliver, evaluate leisure experience, who want to get a degree, they want to get a job, send them our way. We're also very excited about some 2+2 agreements that we started with College of DuPage, and we would be more than happy, thank you, and we would be more than happy to talk with any of you about things we could do at your schools as well. So thank you for your time today.
3 minutes.
Can I say one more thing, teacher ed wise? Math for teacher education is changing. I think a lot of you, we're hoping it's changing. I think a lot of you know right now, we currently recommend that your students take college algebra and statistics before they come. Our math department is going through the process of making that change, and we are going back to Math for Teachers 1 and Math for Teachers 2, which we're all very happy about. So if they're planning to go into teacher education, go ahead and have them take Math for Teachers 1 and Math for Teachers 2.
For secondary ed too?
Secondary ed's different. Yeah.
Okay.
So if there's secondary ed, then it's going to depend on their area. So it's basically going to be a gen ed math, but some of the areas do have a specific math, so you might reach out to us. Okay.
2 minutes. Any questions? Lasting questions?
How long is the military commitment for once they're done with your program?
Generally 4 years active duty, or there's a couple different ways. I mean, it's 8 total.
Okay.
But you can do 4 years active duty and then 4 years inactive, ready reserve, where there's no drilling, or you can do a kind of several different combinations of that.
Okay.
Anything else? Well, again, we thank you for your time and your questions, and don't hesitate to reach out to us if we can help. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You can use that for like repayment, when they say, okay, you owe 2 days or 3 days for every day of school, right? That kind of thing. So like did 2 graduate programs, one was partially funded, one was it was a 1 year for public administration. So I spent a year at Harvard, then I had to spend 3 years ago, which I was spending anyway.
Right.
But yeah, we.
I'm ready. I'm the college business. So our virtual audience here. Okay, so you're gonna have to stay like here, use your box. All right. Well, then keep your middle line. No, go, yeah.
She went to soccer. Fortunate you of I. Played basketball. Did you?
Yeah. All right, our next area and last area, and I know Sarah always loves it when I do this to her because I always joke it just because I know that like if we're running behind, she's gonna catch us up. So we are out of here. But Sarah Lytle, who is the director of academic advising for the College of Business and Technology, is here to share their updates. So take it away.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Happy Friday, everybody. We made it. I've been seeing people in the hallway out there, and they're all like, "Hey, God, it's Friday. It's been a long week." So I promise to keep to my reputation, be very efficient, very effective, very businessy, as you will see. My name is Sarah Lytle. I'm the Director of Academic Advising. I'm going to highlight many of our staff that are always happy to partner with you all and to keep things moving. And I have like some certain goals that I want to accomplish today with you all. I've gotten some questions, some things that usually you all want to know each year and get some of those highlights. But I also want to reiterate that we are here in a partnership. And so my staff is very willing to take phone calls, take emails, meet with your students, talk about classes. All of those things are very much what we want to do and why we like coming to talk at these events, because we truly feel that, especially for a transfer student in our college, they know what they want to do. They have some very specific goals. They have some things that they're hoping to accomplish, and we'd love to partner with you to make sure those happen for them. We are very career focused in our college. We talk a lot about jobs. We talk a lot about experiences that give you the skill set to be ready for your job. And so many of our classes incorporate skill sets that you need to have to be a marketer, to be an engineer, to run a construction site, all of those types of things. And so we do that. We also connect our students to industry in a variety of different ways. So we have 6 specific career fairs in our college to connect students to those industries, along with the things that happen here at the university. So I'll highlight some of those as we go through. The other thing is that we're really helping students gain those practical skills. So we are really looking for you all to help students have that foundation to be a successful student, and for our faculty then to finish it out and make sure that they are competitive and get those jobs. Internships, we get a lot of questions about internships. Some of our programs do require internships, but I always like to emphasize that any student can do an internship for academic credit. It's built in as departmental electives. It's built in as emphasis areas, those types of things. So every student can do an internship in the College of Business and Technology. We have one academic school where every major requires, and then our supply chain management business students have to do an internship. The final thing that I'm going to highlight is that I do reference our website quite a bit. We'd all love to have bigger and better websites, but I think ours is a pretty great resource. So if you are meeting with a student, the wiu.edu/CBT for College of Business and Technology is a great resource to go to with a student. Many of the things that I talk about today will be on that site, and I'll also highlight kind of where to find some of those. This presentation is going to be shared with you from my understanding, correct? Okay, so all the links, all those things are great resources for you to be able to pull up and access. Get a lot of questions about funding. So scholarships are very much something that we pride ourselves in the College of Business and Technology. By our fall class, we will be on the scholarship portal so students can use that one-stop application for all scholarships. We have a couple folks that are slowly getting on board in our college. So we do have a scholarship page, which will highlight how students can apply for any departmental scholarships. There are many earmarked for transfer students, and so we highly encourage students to do that. The scholarship page on our website starts off with the college, but then you can see over at the right-hand side where you can go to either any of the specific academic departments. Okay. A couple other things I like to highlight, and then I promise I'll get into the nitty-gritties, is that we in our college do specialize in different academic schools. So you will have an advisor that specializes for agriculture. That person goes the ins and outs of every single elective, every minor, all those types of things. And they're a great resource for you. So if you have questions or you have a student, that's the person that we'd love to get you connected to. We focus on helping students on the Macomb campus, on the Quad Cities campus, and we have a lot of online programs. And so we've even, kind of used our advising staff to specialize in that online completion path. And so we want to make sure students are successful. I'm going to highlight who you would contact and use for your different academic schools in the presentation. All their contact information is also there, so please feel free to use that anytime. I got nominated to do the presentation today, so if you do have any specific questions, or you happen to stump me a little bit later with all overarching questions, we'll make sure we get you the correct contact. The final thing that I like to highlight with this group as well is most of your students are doing the AA or the AS to come to us, as that is the more transfer friendly. An applied associate's degree is not transfer friendly to the College of Business and Technology. There are a couple of instances in engineering technology where we can use some coursework and those types of things, but we just really like to be transfer friendly and really put that out front, that that applied degree is not as transfer friendly for us. Okay. The final thing is that we do have all of our model degree plans on the website. I know sometimes that is helpful for you all to dig deep into that. We work every year to update those and make sure that those are accurate. So the model degree plans online are correct for our college. Okay. Talk a little bit about that website that I talked about. So if you go to that College of Business and Technology website, you can click on any different academic area your student is interested in. You can click on multiple different areas, and they will be able to dig deeper into the information that is there. Let's talk about business. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little holistically about business. We have 2 academic schools that cover business majors here at Western, but as the path for transfer students, it's going to be consistent for any of the business disciplines that students are looking at. We are AACSB accredited, as are most institutions here in the state of Illinois. And what that means is that we're in the top 5% of all business schools. Western does hold the accreditation also for the accounting program. So that's something we really like to take some pride in. That is not something that's universal across the state of Illinois. So we like to point that out. Transfer students need to know that because of that accreditation, we are much more limited in what we're able to accept when it comes to what transfers in as our upper division work. And so if you do teach a principles of marketing course or an introduction to supply chain, we really want to make sure that that works for a student and that we are setting them up for success, because that accreditation does limit what we're able to take from a non-accredited institution. What we're hoping that you do with your students is have them earn that associate's degree and allow them to come in as a fully declared business student. They can come in business undecided, but for many students, they do know what they would like to do in business, and they can come in as a fully declared business student. The requirements to declare are 60 semester hours, which they will earn by completing your degree. They have to have at least a 2.5 minimum GPA, and then they have 6 tool classes that they will be able to check off with you. Those classes include micro and macro economics, introduction to elementary statistics, applied calculus, and the principles of managerial and financial accounting. Those are all classes that most of you provide, most of you have built into your degree programs. And so if they do that, they're welcome to come in declared. They're not required to come in declared. We can take that first semester to take an introduction to finance course or something to help them explore what they really want to do with business. Yeah.
The applied calc, is that equivalent to like business calc?
Correct. Yes. And if you ever have a question, we're happy to use the transferology or confirm for you and those types of things. Some students may not get to calculus. If they start in a remedial math, we will pick up that their first semester with us. If they happen to miss one of these requirements because they decided a little later that they want to do business, that's fine. We will work with every student. We will get them declared as quickly as possible, and we will help them be successful. There are some other under division courses that can come in. We do have a business ethics course. We have an introduction to computers, a computer science 101 is what we call it. We work very closely with Cassie and the transfer staff to make sure that we keep your transfer guide as up to date as possible. When we look at business students, we do an all business inclusive transfer agreement. Accountants have to be a little bit more ethical, so we throw in a couple caveats there, but for the most part, your students can come in declared. All right, the 2 schools of business are, well, I have to read it here, the School of Accountancy, Finance, Economics, and Decision Sciences. If you had to answer the phone too many times, you would have come up with AFED too. So the School of AFED has a director now, Dr. Jessica Lynn, I'm happy to announce, is the permanent director. She has been longtime faculty in economics and decision sciences, so has a great history. She's an alum, all kinds of great stuff there, but is great, providing some great leadership and continuity in that department. In the School of AFED, we have several Bachelor of Business degrees. We have the accountancy degree, which can be completed in Macomb, the Quad Cities, or 100% online. Accountancy does allow students to have an emphasis or specialization in managerial or in tax. So students are able to take some additional emphasis course, which really kind of matches with industry standards. The next thing we have is finance. Finance can be done in Macomb. Finance can also be done fully online. Economics, we offer 2 economics degrees. We offer a Bachelor of Business, and we also offer the Bachelor of Arts of Economics. All of those can be done in Macomb or online. The difference between the BB and the BA is the calc requirements. We have some students that are a little scared about calculus. The other change or difference is in the Bachelor of Arts, you don't take that business core that you do with all the other bachelors of business. You would still take your accounting or your economics core, and you would do a minor. And so we help students find a nice fit there. Business analytics, again, we do offer the emphasis in applied stats, which does require a little bit more math. It is the only business degree that would require a little bit of extra mathematics. Business, we have a lot of students that do the business emphasis, information systems, and supply chain management. That program is also in Macomb and fully online. So as you can see, all degrees are online completable, all Macomb completable, and some in the Quad Cities. These websites right here are the links to those direct programs, and then the office information
if you wanted to talk to Dr. Lynn, or you needed a speaker for an event that you're having on your campus, all good resources there. If you dig deeper into, for example, like accounting on that website, you would see why is accounting a great major at Western Illinois University? We have the highest pass rate on the CPA exam of any public institution in the state of Illinois. We've got great student organizations. What are those things that as your students are maybe deciding between a couple different institutions, what are those distinguishing features or best-selling tips for WIU? You'll see events like Meet the Firms, which is the career opportunity for the School of AFED. You'll also be able to see specifically what jobs do students have with this degree. Sometimes students will say, I'd like to do this. And you're like, I'm not 100% sure what that category that falls under. So this would be an opportunity to do that. We also highlight employers that have recently hired our students for internships and for job placement. So it's a nice way to make sure that students are in the correct area or get them excited about some of the opportunities. The other School of Business is the School of Management and Marketing. Dr. Tara Feld is our other director for our business school. She wears a couple different hats. So she is the acting director for the School of M&M. She is the associate dean, and she is the MBA advisor. So students who are looking to do that, I think she's an amazing superstar, but she does a great job in this role as well. The Bachelor of Business degrees that are available in the School of Management and Marketing are, of course, the management degree available in Macomb, Quad Cities, or online. Our marketing degree, which we have different options within marketing where students can specialize their marketing degree. The enterprise option is completable 100% online, also in Macomb. And then marketing technologies and omni-channel are completable on the Macomb campus. Omni-channel is one of those options that requires an internship. Human resource management, again, is available in all three formats. Supply chain management, again, in Macomb, Quad Cities, and online. Supply chain management does have a required 3-hour internship to complete that degree. Students can come in business undecided. We sometimes like it when they're undecided because sometimes they take a professor, they get excited about an area, they feel a little less locked in. So we do try and encourage that exploration even as they're coming in as a transfer student. So still time to decide. Again, the website for those majors, the office contact information if you happen to need it. Again, model degree plans are available for all students. You will see a very similar plan for all business programs at WIU. When it comes to advising, we have a couple different point people that take the lead. So depending on where your student might be attending, you're welcome to connect them to the academic advisor. We do pre-advising appointments. We meet with students as they are initially deciding to attend your institution and know that this is their path. We meet with them right before they come in, whatever works. And so Michelle is our Macomb business advisor. I also help with business because there's a lot of them and we love them. Ashley is located up on the Quad Cities campus, and she also does all of our online majors through the School of AFED. And then Ember Keithley, who some of you might recognize from the ag side of things, in a past life, she was a business advisor, and she is doing our School of M&M online students, so helping them navigate those courses and sequences online. Okay, Dennis DeVoler, School of Computer Science. We're halfway through the College of Business and Technology. Exciting, fun things happening in the School of Computer Science. We have 3 specific disciplines within the School of Computer Science. We have computer science, where students can do a traditional path, which is very integrated into the master's program very well. We have the big data, which kind of plays onto the business analytics trend. And then we also have cybersecurity. Information systems is another degree program in a School of Computer Science. They have their traditional emphasis and also the cybersecurity. And then we have our comprehensive cybersecurity program and program here at WIU. Again, all of these can be done on the Macomb campus. Information systems with the traditional emphasis can be done on the Quad Cities campus. None can be done fully online. I know, I'm the computer science person, and I'm saying that they don't do it online. That's a question I get quite a bit. These classes are actually utilizing some lab facilities, software, those types of things
And so the face-to-face interaction is actually very helpful. And my computer science students, while they love to have a Zoom meeting with me, want to go to class and interact with their faculty. Exciting news for the School of Computer Science. So our comprehensive cybersecurity degree has passed the first phase of the accrediting process. So we are seeking to be a center of academic excellence in cyber defense. What that means is that federal positions will be easily accessible, and our students will be very qualified to have those types of positions. Obviously, as you know, the cybersecurity industry in general is growing very popular. We can't get enough people trained. And so there are lots and lots of job opportunities. I have not had a cybersecurity student graduate since I've been advising, and that program has come up without walking across the stage with a job in hand. So they are highly in demand. I even had a student supposed to graduate in December. He did not pass the class, so he did not graduate, and his job waited for him for one more semester for him to be able to finish his position. So lots of demand for that, and lots of willingness on the employer to work with students. So whatever their path looks like, they have that position. For transfer students, it's very important that we try and get them into CS 214, which is the IAI 911 course. If they can get 250, that's wonderful. 214 is required for all of those technology areas. And so if they can get that done, that's very helpful, especially if they're thinking about computer science. The core of computer science coursework is 5 semesters. So if we're really trying to do that two type of path for a student, it's important that they have that done. If not, again, we will work with students, we'll create that path for them, but that is helpful. All majors within the college, except for agriculture, are also calculus-based majors. So anything you can do with math, having them math ready. In computer science, we do have calculus with analytical geometry. Everything else is that applied calc. I did the advising for the School of Computer Science, so if I can be helpful, please let me know. School of Agriculture, Dr. Andy Baker, not a stranger to most. We have several great programs in the School of Ag. All of them are Macomb based. We have some great facilities here in Macomb. We have an actual working farm here in the about a mile from campus. And so our students get lots of great hands-on experiences. We have the ability for students in agriculture to focus on ag science, ag business, or ag education. And so all of those areas are wonderful. We do a lot of career fairs specifically for ag students as well. We do have 2 pre-professional programs. We do have a pre-forestry and a pre-veterinary program. We do work with students. Pre-vet actually has added a couple new exploratory classes. They've added a new student organization because we're seeing a lot of students have that interest. So good exploration there. Recommended coursework is the Associates of Arts degree according to Ember, and just being math ready. This is not a calculus-based major, and so Gen Ed math will be required. So whatever a student needs just to be ready for Gen Ed math. She is able to use any IAI Ag course also in the degree. So if you do have those articulated courses, we are happy to use those. Couple highlights. They will have an open house for the School of Agriculture on March 24th. That is a great event to push to students who are thinking about the School of Ag. It's like a half day. They do spend time on the farm, interacting with faculty, really having that full experience. And agriculture is very much a family. And so they really kind of help nurture, bring students in and make that a positive. We have lots of minors in the School of Agriculture. I do frequently get the question based on the cannabis production minor, if students can just come do the minor. They do have to have a major with that as well. Students typically pair that with something in the School of Agriculture or a lot of our business majors as well. Oops, that's the pointer. Amber Keithley is the School of Agriculture advisor. She has been for several years. She said she is coming to some of your schools, actually, so you'll get to meet her face to face. She also travels frequently with admissions, so if you do have an event or you'd like her to travel with, we are always happy to do that as well. Last but not least, we have the School of Engineering and Technology. If you've sat in this for several years, you know that we used to have the School of the School of Engineering up in the Quad Cities, and we had the Department of Engineering and Technology in Macomb. And we have blended and merged those two areas into one academic school. And the synergy is actually really exciting. So there's a lot of ways in which those faculty can collaborate, where students cannot get lost in the transition between academic disciplines. And so we're very excited about that. In the School of Engineering and Technology, we have 4 engineering programs. We have a general engineering degree. We have mechanical engineering, civil engineering, and also electrical engineering. You can start in the Macomb campus for these programs for the last 2 years, so your transfer students will be mostly based on the Quad Cities campus. So facilities up there, partnerships, great opportunities. We are excited to have that campus and those facilities. Engineering technology is also a major in the school. It can be done in Macomb or the Quad Cities. And then our construction and facilities management major is just a Macomb-based major. Contact information for the director, Raphael Obregon, is here. He will be the director for the next year. And so we are excited to have his leadership as he continues to build this school. Because there are so many majors, I had to put the links on the next page. So apologies, but there you go. Exciting news in the School of Engineering Technology. All engineering programs are now ABET accredited. So there is a bit of a process. You can't come out of the gates ABET accredited. You have to have some graduation, some coursework, some review. And so we were up for that opportunity, and our civil and electrical engineering programs are now ABET accredited, and they joined the general engineering and the mechanical engineering in that accreditation. Recommended coursework, again, is that Associates of Arts, just because there's so much sequenced in there. And of course, you do take quite a bit of math as an engineer or anything related to that. So anything you can get done math-wise would be wonderful. We do recommend ET 105 or the graphics course, which is IAI 941. All students in any of these disciplines start out with that. So that is a great way for them to potentially take that course with you and kind of solidify this is where they'd like to be. Internships are required for all majors in the School of Engineering and Technology. That is something, if you get into the website, where you'll see an active map where you can see where students are not only placed for careers, but you can also see all those internships. And there's also international internships, lots of great opportunities. The other thing Andy wanted me to make sure that I highlighted for you is that there is quite a bit of coursework that requires a C or better grade. And that's part of the accreditation. That's part of moving through the sequence. And so typically you have a very academically talented student that's doing this, but we just like to highlight that. Andy Potter is the School of Engineering and Technology advisor. She advises students on both campuses. So regardless of where they start or where they end, they're going to work with Andy Potter. Many of your students will have graduate school also as a goal. And so I always like to highlight that transfer students are eligible to do the integrated programs. We have a lot of master's programs. Anything with an asterisk here also is part of the integrated bachelor's to master's program. Many of the ways in which these courses bridge into the master's degree are coursework taken in the senior year. So it's a great opportunity if students know that that is a step that they'd like to take, that graduate school as part of the big picture. We are happy to do that. I like to highlight that the MBA is integrated into the School of Agriculture. It's integrated into computer science and also law enforcement. So you don't just have to have a business degree to be able to bridge into the MBA. We've had a lot of growth in our graduate programs this past year, a lot of great opportunities for students. And really the earning potential when they have that graduate degree really just kind of bumps it up. I think for the Masters of Accountancy, it's an average of $10,000 higher salary per year. When you think about your career, that is quite a significant salary increase. I think I'm doing okay on time, so I'm going to brag a little bit. Good. So I'd like to highlight one thing from each academic school. I know as you talk with students, sometimes it's about their fit and getting involved and making sure that this is where they want to be. And so our college does a lot both inside the classroom, outside the classroom, and kind of co-curricular to make sure that students are feeling that connection and that they can explore. And so we just had the first REALS conference, which stands for Real Estate Appraisal and Learning Summit. It was an opportunity for us to get some industry professionals to come in and talk about the real estate industry, talk about what is appraisal, all of those types of things, and able for students to ask questions, to have a lot of that interaction. Very exciting, lots of opportunities for growth, but that was a unique opportunity in the School of ATED that's actually already happened this semester. So we're excited that that's up and moving. Supply chain management is doing virtual open houses all semester long. In November, there is a session that is going to be specifically targeted for transfer students. So on November 16th, if students can join Dr. Zimmerman, she's going to really kind of highlight what opportunities, how can we quickly get you into supply chain management, what are you going to benefit from, and it'll be very transfer focused. This is October, which is Cybersecurity Awareness Month. In case you didn't know, you better check your passwords and all that good stuff. But our faculty, part of going through this accreditation process for cybersecurity has had us look at things very holistically. We've looked at campus security. We've looked at a lot of those different things. And so I always joke that our students learn to hack, and that is ethical hacking is something that they do. One of the professors came into a curriculum meeting. They said, well, I'm not sure if I should be proud or upset because one of the students was able to hack into his test and do anything, be able to manipulate the exam. And he's like, I'm really impressed, but I'm also kind of upset that he was able to do that. But we actually had, it's called Leather Hack. And our faculty spent several training sessions teaching students how to do some of these hacking skills. And then they had an internal competition. So they divided into teams, and one was actually trying to break down the defenses, and the other was creating barriers and those types of things. So kind of neat, interesting things. As you get to know students, these are the types of things that get them excited. It's something that would really make them excited about Western. We also take students lots of different places. We help get those hands-on experiences. And so already this year, our School of Engineering and Technology has taken a group of students. They rented a charter bus and took students up to the manufacturing trade show up in Chicago in McCormick Place. So that was a great trip. They had a really good time. School of Ag, highly involved, lots of opportunities, but we partner with athletics, University Programming Board, and the School of Ag, and we do the food, farming, football, and fun, the F game. And so there's lots of ways in which we give back to the community. If you go to Hy-Vee, you can buy leatherneck meats, you can buy hydroponic lettuce, all kinds of ways that we get involved with the community. So exciting, fun stuff in the School of Agriculture always. All right. What questions do you have? What things did I not talk about that you are still interested in?
There was one from online. They wondered if you could explain omni-channel option just a little bit more of what is that? What does it entail?
Sure. So in marketing, there are three, what I like to call kind of a focus area. So enterprise really has everything open for students. They could take something on international, they could take something on technology, they could really, take anything that interests them and put those together. For technology, obviously you're focusing on those more marketing technologies. Omnichannel is kind of the trending thing in marketing. So the idea is that marketing doesn't happen in a silo. And so the coursework allows students to understand the supply chain, to understand that if I make a push in my digital campaign, that my store has to also be ready for that. That branding needs to happen cross platforms and those types of things. And so it's that more holistic look at marketing, and it incorporates the supply chain and more hands-on practical with the internship. Great question, that's a good one. Other things that I didn't hit. I'm a fast talker too, so maybe I just talked too fast. Maybe I said it because I wasn't there. I'll take it as a win on a Friday. Yeah. Well, as always, the partnership, we really appreciate working with all of you. And so if there is anything we can do, if there's an opportunity for you to get a student to us, I'm always happy to be that point person, but if you can also identify the person that's appropriate in the advising world, we're always happy to do that. We've got students shadowing classes, you know, even if I know they're visiting, you know, I can make sure that I spend a little extra time. I know for transfer students, really kind of understanding what they have left and what that model degree plan looks like specifically for them is super important. I spend an hour, and I would guess all my staff spends about an hour with every incoming transfer student. We go over the degree requirements. We show them exactly how all the work that they've done with you as transfer work works in their degree. And then we outline semester by semester what it looks like to graduation. And so very upfront, very, you know, planned out and very strategic to help be efficient and effective to get them to graduation.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Sarah. And thank you, everybody that joined us virtually and then that are here in person today. Just kind of a couple of housekeeping things and reminders. All of the handouts that you were given today or that were passed out today will be put into an electronic drive, and the link will be sent to you so you can access these things electronically, because I know sometimes paper has a way of getting lost, or you know, you're somewhere else, another office location, and so we'll provide that link. Today's session has been recorded all day, and so we will get that recording up on the website, wiu.edu/transfer advisor. It's kind of your guys's personalized page for any academic advising questions. It's got a link to the academic advising directory. There was a form that was emailed out to all of our academic advisors with some top questions like, what classes do students need to make sure that they take at the community college prior to transferring? And so all of that information is in a spreadsheet, and that will be linked on that transfer advisor page as well. So I was giving the academic advisors, some of them just got that sheet from their department chairs this week, and so we're giving them a little bit of time to get caught up, but that will be available on our website as well. So thank you for joining us. This is the first time we did this whole hybrid virtual in-person thing, so hopefully we got it right. I'm sure that there'll be some tweaks for next year, and we'll send out a survey, so any feedback is definitely appreciated. I know that there was a few of you that did say that you wanted a tour. I don't know if our student is here yet, but they should be here about 2 o'clock, I think was their scheduled time. So if you were sticking around for a tour, we do have a student tour guide for you. Otherwise, enjoy your weekend. It's beautiful out, a little chilly for me, but it's still a very, very nice, perfect fall day. So thank you very much.
Thank you.